Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayintheNFL.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayintheNFL.com.
And game number one on Mutual's NFL Sunday afternoon football is about to get underway. Here comes the run-up by Herrera, and the kick. It's high, it's sailing down deep, and Miller will take it up the 2-yard line, up to the 5, up to the middle of the 10, the 15-yard line, up to the 20, hit, bounces off, one tackle, gets up to the 19-yard line as he's driven back, and that's the end of Mr. Miller's jaunt. He started up the 2, got it up to the 19, about a 17-yard return, and the hit was made by Mike Hegman. So, the Minnesota Vikings will put the ball in play. First down and 10 yards to go. They will have it at their own 19-yard line.
Robert Miller, who returned that kick, was the leading rusher for the Vikings in preseason, and he's got a lot of power. Goes about 225 pounds.
Grant Tarkin, of course, is the quarterback now in his 17th season. Tarkin going to throw on the first down, has plenty of time down the far sideline. The intended receivers will cover, the pass is broken up and almost intercepted. Fly pattern down the left sideline, and the players just a little slow in getting up. Covering on the play for the Dallas Cowboys was Cliff Harris. Shaking up on the play for the Dallas Cowboys. The number one draft choice of a year ago, 5'10", 185-pound, 2-year man from Wyoming, Aaron Kyle. And the intended receiver is flat on his back and not moving right now. So we have two players hurt, one Dallas Cowboy, one Minnesota Viking. Cliff Harris was also there on the play. The wide receiver was Ahmad Rashad, 6'2", 200-pound, 5-year veteran from Oregon. So Rashad is still on his back. Now Aaron Kyle is up. While we have a moment, I want to remind you of the Lazy Boy Chair Company will award a Lazy Boy recliner to the outstanding offensive and outstanding defensive players in today's game. Our judges are Cooper Rotto of the Chicago Tribune, Ralph Reeve of the St. Paul Pioneer Press, and Alan Hobart of the Minneapolis Tribune, and we'll announce the winners at the conclusion of today's game. We already have a couple of finals here. The Cleveland Browns defeated the Cincinnati Bengals. That had to be an upset, 13-3. That game played at Cincinnati. And Atlanta shocked Los Angeles, 17-6. They may remember that game that we did on Mutual a year ago, Pat Sheridan, on a sunny Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles. And the Rams could do no wrong, and the Falcons could do nothing, period. And the Rams scored 52 points that day. Another final score and another upset. The Giants 20 and the Redskins 17. That means this is the first year, the first time in George Allen's head coaching career he has not won an opener. He had won 11 in a row.
He's going to be hitting the ice cream tonight, I think.
Vikings at their 19. Second down, 10 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings at the 19-yard line. Ahmad Rashad has been replaced by Bob Grimm at wide receiver on the left side. Here's the turnaround to get to Chuck Foreman. Foreman off left tackle, and Randy White leads the charge, and several other of the Dallas Cowboys there. Dallas, of course, in the gray-blue pants, the white jerseys. The Minnesota Vikings in the traditional home white pants and the purple jersey. A gain of a couple of yards on the play. It'll be third down now at about, let's call it 8 yards to go.
Aaron Kyle is out of the lineup also, being replaced by Mel Renfro, who is going to be the cornerback on the right side.
Now we've got the two wideouts on the right side, the Vikings in a spread formation. Tarkin reaching at the quarterback, under the center that is, looking for Foreman, throws the ball up over the middle. Foreman gets up to 30, gets to 35, and he gets up to the 40-yard line. And the Vikings have a first down, and Chuck Foreman did a superior job of getting away from that linebacker who was trying to hassle him, broke into the open, and took Tarkinson's pass.
Every time you think of the Vikings, you think of the short routes to the backs coming out of the backfield. And on that one, a beautiful pitch of 19 yards to Foreman gives the Vikings a first down. It's 0-0. We've just begun here at Bloomington, Minnesota from Metropolitan Stadium. And this is Pat Sheridan along with Tony Roberts. Aaron Kyle just got a chance to start for the Dallas Cowboys. Just recently, they were very unhappy with the way he played last year, and he finally learned the position, the cornerback position, and now just as soon as he does and he gets a chance to start in the NFL, what happens? He gets an injury.
The ball is at the 40-yard line. Sammy Johnson is coming to the ball game for the Minnesota Vikings, 6'1", 216 pounds. He's a 3-year man out of North Carolina. And coming out of the ball game is Chuck Foreman. So Foreman shake it up, being assisted off the field on the far side. Under his own power now. Probably just got the wind knocked out of him. Early in the ball game, no score. 13:45 left to play in the first period. And the purple shirted Pikes are out of the huddle. Sammy White is the wide receiver. The young man out of Grambling now in his second year. Wide to the right. Bob Grimm is out to the left side. Talking in a long time. Gets the snap from Tingeloff. Gives the ball off to Marcello outside. At the 45, the 50, down to the 45. At the 40, the 35-yard line. Make that Sammy Johnson. And Johnson on a weak side play rambles all the way down to the Dallas Cowboy 35-yard line. Caught the Cowboys sifting in on the right side. And the Vikings are in business for the long run on a first down.
36-yard gain for Johnson. They picked him up in a deal with the San Francisco 49ers, and he has paid off for them. Terrific run by Johnson. Found a route to the outside.
First and 10 for the Vikings. Throw the route by Sammy Johnson. Puts the Vikings in business at the Dallas Cowboys 35-yard line. Tingeloff snaps it back. Talking and fakes. Looks, seeks that ball. It looks like he was running the option play there, but the deep back, who might have taken a pitch, Brent McClanahan, was very well covered by the linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, and the stop is made at the 35-yard line. No gain on the play. That'll make it second down and 10.
Bob Brunig did a great job covering that play because he was the guy who tackled Tarkenton. Tarkenton decided to move out and move up toward the line of scrimmage, and Brunig was there to bring him down around the knees.
Bob Grimm goes wide out to the left. Aaron Kyle covering there. Sammy White is out to the right. Throw set. We've got McClanahan and Sammy Johnson in the backfield. Long count by Tarkenton, dropping back to throw. At the 42, throws the ball up the middle. It's caught. At the 25, down to the 20, the 19-yard line. The catch made by the tight end, Stu Boyd, a 9-year veteran from Wisconsin.
Stu Boyd, he used to be a running back at the University of Wisconsin, and eventually became to the Vikings and became a tight end. Every year they say that Stu Boyd is going to lose his job, that some guy hot out of college is going to take it away, and here he is again, catching more of Tarkenton's passes.
So that'll put the ball at the 19-yard line. First down and 10. A long time ago, the Minnesota Vikings started this series back at their own 19-yard line. They have maintained possession. 11:35 left to play in the first period. Tarkenton again to throw. Looking, throwing to the far corner. Instead of for Sandy White. Leaps in the air. Did he get it? No, it's knocked away. It looked like the ball for a moment. He was going to out-battle Aaron Kyle for the ball, but Cliff Harris came over to help and batted the ball away.
That Dallas Cowboys secondary covers passes beautifully. Their linebackers have been the ones that have been in trouble on this Viking drive. Their linebackers have made those deep drops, and Tarkenton has been throwing right under them. On that play, Harris came over to help his cornerback, and they managed to do the job. No score from Bloomington, Minnesota, first quarter.
Here come the Vikings now with second down and 10 yards to go. Tarkenton sets them up in an eye with wide receivers left and right. Dropping back. Play action pass. Looking again. Throws that ball coming out of the backfield. Foreman at the 9. The 5. It's going to be a touchdown. Foreman got away from the right side linebacker, D.D. Lewis. Chuck Foreman unattended at the 9-yard line. Beautiful play. And Foreman took that ball for the touchdown. Took it in. Took the ball at the 9 and just outraced everybody. Went in. Closest man to him was Cliff Harris. And the Minnesota Vikings have gone 81 yards on the first series for a score.
D.D. Lewis has to have a face that's covered with red right now. He went into the line of scrimmage, and the way was clear for the touchdown. Nobody near the receiver.
The point after touchdown attempt coming up by Freddie Cox. Paul Krause will hold, spotted down. Boot is up there, and it is good. With the score. The Minnesota Vikings 7, and the Dallas Cowboys 0. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for International Scouts and the Teamsters.
We
we'd like to announce a new world champion, the four-wheel drive Scout SS2. Last month in Riverside, California, the Scout SS2 beat every four-wheel drive vehicle in its class, including the Jeep DJ7. 4 out of the top 9 finishers in the off-road world championship race were Scouts. Surprising? Not when you know that Scout is made by International Harvest. See your International dealer today and take a test drive in the vehicle that won the off-road world championship. Scout SS2. We built it. You paid it.
Being number one is never easy. To the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, number one means more than being the world's largest union. It means you deliver. With 2.3 million members, the best wages, most secure family features, health, salary protection, and pension programs are unsurpassed. And getting it on pays off, because the Teamster Union continues to grow as workers from all walks of life discover the kind of benefits they've been missing. That's why Teamster membership is America's best buy.
7-0 in favor of the Vikings. 8 plays, 81 yards, and they had it for 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Butch Johnson is back to receive the kick. He averaged over 23 yards per return this summer.
Freddie Cox approaching the football. The kick is high to the far side, taking it to 9 at the 10, the 15, the 20-yard line. Up to on the 23-yard line, and the Vikings special teams cover very, very well. And the Dallas Cowboy returner is dropped right there, and the Cowboys are in business at their own 24-yard line, 1st and 10.
Well, the Vikings came storming out with that big drive, taking advantage of the fact that the Dallas Cowboy linebackers were basically looking for the running play, and Fran Tarkenton went through right over them and right under them on a beautiful drive.
1st and 10 for the Cowboys, who trail 7-0. 11 minutes, 13 seconds left to play. First period action at the net in Bloomington. Now, a power I formation, strong to the right. One of the backs in the backfield moves in motion to the near side. That was Golden Richards. We're going to have an illegal procedure call against the Dallas Cowboys.
And Tony Billy Joe Dupre, the tight end, also went over what is the imaginary line of scrimmage, and they might get him for encroachment.
There's the 5-yard walk-off. That'll bring the ball back to the 19-yard line. False start is the call. So the Cowboys huddled between the 5 and 10-yard line. Wait for the Cowboys. Wide out to the right. We've got Drew Pearson. In a slot to the right side. Preston Pearson. Strange formation. Golden Richards in the backfield now comes in motion to the near side. Here's the handoff. The ball goes to the fullback. Robert Newhouse, he's not going anywhere. He is backed up right at the 19-yard line. The middle of that Viking defense just did not give.
That was a pile-driving tackle by Big Alan Page, the former Notre Damer. Page has been in the league a long, long time, and the Vikings keep saying, we're not that old. We have it, and we're going to come back, and we're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. That's from Chuck Foreman.
2nd and 14 for the Cowboys. Wide to the left, we've got Drew Pearson as the Cowboys break the huddle. Butch Johnson is in the game. 2-year man of the University of California, Riverside. I formation, Starbuck, play action, give the ball. Off to Pearson, 25, at the 30, at the 35, the 40, the 42-yard line. Nice run by the 11-year veteran from Illinois, 6'1", 206-pound Preston Pearson. Scrambles right up the middle. They found a soft spot at right guard and just rolled it up the middle, up to the 47, makes it the 42-yard line. And the Cowboys have a first down.
Have to credit Rafferty, the right guard, and John Fitzgerald, the center, for opening up that hole, and it was a huge one. The Viking linebackers had already gone to the line, and the way was clear to go in the defensive backfield.
Drew Pearson, a 5-year veteran from Tulsa, is wide out to the left. Deuce backfield now. The tight end comes in motion. Starbuck dropping back to throw at the 31-yard line. Fires to the near sideline. The big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, makes the gravity, is hustled out of bounds immediately by safety Jeff White of the Minnesota Vikings. He was knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So the pass, though completed, loses a yard. It'll be second down and 11.
Billy Joe Dupre, the former Michigan Stater, had an up-and-down career with the Dallas Cowboys until a year ago when he got the solid number 1 spot and then became the all-time pass-receiving leader from the tight end position for the Cowboys.
The Cowboys backfield, Preston Pearson, along with Robert Newhouse. Golden Richards will make that switch. Johnson in motion to the near side. Shovel pass, Newhouse, out right tackle at the 40, up to the 43-yard line before he is hustled down by middle linebacker Jeff Seaman of the Minnesota Vikings.
Jeff Seaman read that play all the way. He's an all-league middle linebacker. He just kind of scooted along the line of scrimmage to his left, saw where the back was going to cut, where he was going to move around in, wrapped him up, and it was a very, very short gain. So it's going to be third down and 8 yards to go for the Dallas Cowboys.
And into the Cowboy lineup right now is Jay Staley, the 6'3", 224-pound 3-year man from South Carolina. Wide to the left we have Drew Pearson. Out to the right, Golden Richards. Cowboys go into the shotgun the first time this afternoon. The snap back to Staubach. Roger drops back, looks, takes that ball, puts it under his arm at the 35, at the 40, at the 45, at the 50-yard line, and he is hit. And hit very, very hard. Spun around. Jeff Seaman got a piece of him. But he was hit and hit very, very hard. And coming up to make the hit was Bobby Bryant. Good shot by Bryant. So it's not enough for the first down. They're going to be short by about 2.5 yards.
The Vikings have held. They've got a 7-0 lead, and this little guy Bryant hits like a ton of cement.
Danny White played his college ball at Arizona State. Fine quarterback, saw a lot of action in the preseason because Staubach had a hamstring pull that was a nagging injury. Danny White back to punt, gets it up in the air to the far side. It'll be taken at the 15-yard line. It can be run back. At the 18-yard line, hit and spun around as the ball carrier, and he is drilled all the way back to the 10-yard line. Oh.
A 35-yard punt by Danny White. So the Vikings have their backs against the wall now. And I'm sure the Dallas defensive team has made some adjustments. With a score, Minnesota 7, Dallas nothing. There's a timeout of the field, and now this for GMC Trucks.
Now trucking is my inspiration, and it don't take much education to realize that GMC knows trucking.
It's come to our attention that there's still some folks around who couldn't care less that the new GMCs are in. Well, if you're one of them, we propose this simple but sporting challenge. First, go down to your GMC dealers and sit in one of the new GMCs. A pickup, a rally van, a Suburban, or four-wheel drive Jimmy. It really doesn't matter. Next, put the family in one of them and go drive around a little. Then come back, climb out, and try to say these words. I don't want one. If you can do that, boy, are you strong. If you can't, welcome to the club.
Nothing goes trucking like a GMC. 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 Nothing goes trucking.
Along with Pat Sheridan. After that in Bloomington, Minnesota, on a warm, partly sunny afternoon, and the score is 7-0 Minnesota Vikings, who marched 81 yards the first time they got possession. Bob Grimm goes wide to the right. We've got Sammy White in the slot to the right side. Deuce Blackfield, the quarterback socket, and back to throw. Dropping back, looking for the open man. Dumps the ball out the far side. Foreman had it, could not hold on to it. He was being dogged by right side linebacker Tom Henderson on the play.
They tell me that Henderson runs the 100-yard dash in 9.8 seconds. That's an amazingly fast time for a guy who plays the linebacker position. Henderson comes out of Langston College in Oklahoma, and he was the leader of the specialty teams for a long, long time with Dallas. This year he gets a chance to start.
Here come the Vikings out of the huddle, and again it's Grimm out to the right side. Brett McClanahan goes in the slot to the right. We've got a wide receiver left, and the only setback in the backfield is Foreman. He's coming out of the backfield now. Tucking and throwing to the far side. Sammy White got it. Nobody close to him. He had Aaron Powell beat by about 5 yards, and White took the ball and ran out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Knew exactly how far he had to go to get the first down and did by 2 yards.
The key to that was the fact that White is a deep threat, and he drove Kyle back. Kyle gave him too much room. Incidentally, on that play, for once in this game, the Dallas Cowboys linebackers had the backs coming out of the Minnesota backfield well covered.
We'll take a look at the front four for the Dallas Cowboys right after this play. Again, a deuce backfield with a slot for the right side. Trockinen gets the snap from Single-Off, gives it to his left halfback, Foreman. Foreman hits left tackle, gets a couple of yards, bringing the ball past the 25 up to about the 27 or 28-yard line. And again, it's Tommy Henderson to make the hit.
Let's take a look at that front four for the Dallas Cowboys now. See who's starting it. Jones is at left defensive end. Jethro Pugh is at left tackle. Randy White is at right tackle. Randy White moving over from linebacker. And Harvey Martin, who leads the team in sacks, is the right defensive end.
And the Cowboy linebackers left to right. Tommy Henderson, Bob Brunig, and D.D. Lewis. Minnesota out the deuce backfield slot left this time. Turnaround give to the front man, and it's going to be short yardage from the 30 up to about the, let's call it the 32-yard line. And just a short yardage play, gain of a couple of yards. So Minnesota will come up with a third down situation when McClanahan can only get a couple of yards. It'll be third down and about 4 to go.
That time, the Minnesota Vikings tried to power over right guard Randy White, the right defensive tackle, and White was having none of it. They sometimes can take advantage of a quick player like this and trap him, but that was straight power.
Grimm goes wide right. It's McClanahan out to the left. The Cowboys have gone into their nickel defense, removing Aaron Collins, putting Renfro and Hughes in. Here's Trockinen throwing long up the middle. He's got a man. Can he get it? He cannot. Oh, that pass just off the fingertips of a diving Sammy White at the 27-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys as Trockinen went for broke.
Sammy White has great speed, and he had the safety of the Dallas Cowboys beaten on the play. Had about 3 yards on him and made a sprawling try for Tarkenton's heave, but couldn't get it. Fran just threw it too far.
Well, that sets up the punting situation now. Neil Claybo is back to boot for the Minnesota Vikings. Butch Johnson is the deep single safety standing at the Dallas 23-yard line. Claybo from Tennessee gets the snap and gets the punt off. It's high, it comes down. Johnson's got a chance for the return. Takes it at the 20, at the 30, at the 35. A penalty marker on the play as he falls forward to the 39-yard line. Being hit on the play, got to the 39-yard line, but there's a penalty marker back at the 32.
That was a 41-yard punt with an 8-yard return. And last season, Claybo averaged just under 41 yards, and it looks like that penalty will be against the Dallas Cowboys. They're getting ready to mark it off. They have not made an indication as to what the penalty is about. It might be clipping, but anyway, it's going to be 15 big yards, taking it all the way back to the far hash mark on the 17-yard line, and Dallas is moving from our right to our left. Staubach is back on the field. The Cowboys are huddling.
Clipping is the call against the Dallas Cowboys. So they started the first series at the 24, and now it's at the 17-yard line. Actually, it was the 24, then there was a 5-yard penalty. They actually started the first series back to the 19. So the Cowboys have the ball. Staubach, the quarterback, shifts the team into the I formation. Here's the pitch out to Preston Pearson at the 15-yard line. Hit and brought to a standing stop as he got back to the 17-yard line as he ran into the waiting arms of Alan Page.
Preston Pearson is a player who's had a lot of adversity in his career. He's probably the best free agent pickup of all time. He played with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cowboys picked him up as a free agent. But last year, he wrecked his knee, was out for a long, long time, only started 2 games. And this year, he's been gone like a house of fire ever since the beginning of the preseason.
We'll look at the Vikings front four. They stopped Pearson for a -1, so a second down at 11. Staubach turns around, again gives the ball to Pearson, looking, cutting his way, finds a little hole, squeezes through past the 20, darts up to the 25-yard line before Paul Krause, the strong safety, comes up to make the hit on the play. and a gain of almost 9 yards. It'll be third down and a short two for the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about that front four of the Vikings. Carl Eller, Doug Sutherland, Alan Page, and Jim Marshall. And there's a world of experience there, Pat.
We've seen them many, many times. Page with his great quickness, the ferocity of play is exhibited by Carl Eller. Eller in his 14th year in the league still apparently is going strong.
Wide to the left, we've got Drew Pearson. Out to the right side, Butch Johnson. Staubach back to throw. Looking, may run it at the 20. Is hit. Falls forward at the 25. Gets up to the 47-yard line. Beautiful job of recovering by Carl Eller when it comes cross field to grab Roger Staubach by the ankles, and he stopped Roger just short of a first down.
Tony, the old man has a lot of quickness left in that body. Former University of Minnesota star. Don't count the times he's been all-pro. They've been so many. And now Dallas is in a punting situation, and the Cowboys are behind in the first quarter, 7-0.
Number 26, Bobby Grimm is the deep man. He's standing back at the 35-yard line, waiting for the punt. Danny White gets the head-high snap, gets the ball up in the air. It is a beauty. Grimm signals fair catch, bellies back, and makes the grab at about the 30-yard line. They'll spot it right around the 31-yard line, and that's where the Minnesota Vikings will put the ball in play.
On the last Minnesota series, and by the way, that was a 45-yard punt, Tarkenton went away from that pattern of the original touchdown drive, and he started to throw to his wide receivers. There's a timeout with a score of the Vikings 7, Dallas nothing. Now this word.
First down and 10 yards to go at their own 32-yard line. I formation, slot to the right side. Tarkenton reaches under center, gives the ball to Chuck Foreman. Foreman trying to go outside, but slipping through from his right tackle position was Randy White to make the hit and drops him at the 30-yard line. And Foreman just a little slow getting up.
After seeing Randy White come so quickly through the line and analyze that play so rapidly, you can see that he is just a natural in the middle of that line. He had been put at linebacker by the Cowboys, but now they realize that Randy White is just a super player at the tackle position.
A gain of nothing. As a matter of fact, lost about 2 yards back to the 30-yard line where the ball is spotted. That'll make it second down and 12 yards to go. And again, it's slot right where the wide receiver left, and Tarkenton back to throw a penalty marker on the play to the far side. The pass is caught at the 40-yard line. It's grabbed out there by Sammy White. They'll put the ball down at the 42. He was hit immediately by Aaron Kyle. But again, a penalty marker just as the ball was snapped back to Fran Tarkenton.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
This is WSON Henderson. It's 3:27.
The Dallas Cowboys now talking to the referee, and now the referee signals a brief moment of discussion between him and the Cowboys. I think that they're going to right now go over to the sidelines and confer with Cliff Harris is over there. He's talking to the referee, and now they're bringing the chains out. And they're going to have a measurement to see if there will be a first down here. As we said before, the Cowboys are behind now, 7-0. Fran Tarkenton just ripped them apart on the first drive with short A and B patterns to the backs coming out of the backfield. And the Vikings are about 2 inches shy of a first down as they extend the chains on the far side of the field. Tarkenton goes over to confer with the officials now, and then he signals with his fingers to Bud Grant on the far side of the field exactly how far the distance is. The present situation is this. The Vikings have a third down, and let's make it about 2 inches to go, and we are in the first quarter. And so they're bringing the chains onto the center of the field, and they're going to spot the ball on the far hash mark. That Dallas defensive line, when you look at them, Tony, they just look like a bunch of big, tall trees. Too Tall Jones going 6'9", Harvey Martin at 6'5". As a matter of fact, Randy White, even though he is a big man, he looks like one of the little kids from the back of the yards or something.
He is the smallest of the group. He is 6'4". Jethro Pugh goes 6'6". So now we've got third down and just 2 inches to go for a first down for the Minnesota Vikings. And they have inserted Dennis Willie, a 6'4", 241-pound rookie tackle out of Texas A&M, and another tight end, Steve Craig, into their lineup. So double tight end plus a tackle, and they've got just about 8 men on the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Foreman. Foreman goes outside, and he falls forward, spinning around as he is hit by a Bob Brunig, but not until he gets the first down yardage. Chris Harris came up from the safety spot to make the tackle on the play. So it'll be a first down here for the Minnesota Vikings. Got a carry by Foreman off the weak side. Ball is put in play at the 43-yard line.
It was one of those plays where they might have broken it all away. The only man between Foreman and the goal line was Bruning, who analyzed the play and covered it perfectly. But Foreman could have gone all the way if the linebacker hadn't gotten over there so quickly.
First down and 10 at the 44-yard line. Tarkenton takes the handoff to McClanahan, looking, throwing down the left sideline. It's going to be a race for the football. It's thrown too long. Pass was intended for Chuck Foreman, and Foreman was very, very ably covered that time by Tommy Henderson, who was able to run step for step with a fleet halfback who played his high school football in Frederick, Maryland.
That halfback is just a real danger when you get him on the outside and put him on a linebacker, and it has to give most linebackers fits. But we mentioned earlier in the game that Henderson, although he is big, about 220 pounds, he still runs the 100-yard dash in 9.8.
All right, the Vikings come out of the huddle. That'll make it second down and 10 yards to go. The incomplete pass stops the clock. 2:50 showing in the first quarter. Minnesota leading 7-0. Handoff goes to McClanahan, and McClanahan can go nowhere. He tried Randy White to right tackle spot, and he was just buried there. Randy White would not be moved out, and big Harvey Martin, 6'5", 252 pounds of him, 5-year veteran from East Texas State, just would not be budged, and they stopped the play.
When you're the lineman playing opposite the type of defensive tackle that Randy White is, you just have fits because he is so quick. He is going toward the ball carrier, before you can even start and make your move and your assigned block. And it gets very embarrassing playing a guy like that.
The Vikings now with third down and 10. The Cowboys go into their nickel defense. Mel Renfro, the veteran, a 14-year veteran from Oregon, is in. Tarkenton with a deep drop, looking, throws the ball up over the middle. It is intercepted. Or was it? Tommy Henderson had it. Did he latch onto the football? I believe he did take it off, and they're going to put the ball in play for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it is an interception. The first one of the ball game, a poorly thrown pass by Tarkenton, and Dallas picks it off at the Dallas 46-yard line.
Well, that was really an accident. Henderson went over to cover Foreman, and he gave Foreman a shot and bounced off Foreman. And as he was lying on the ground, the ball went right in his chest. With the score, the Vikings 7-0. There's a timeout on the field, and now this for the Fighting Irish.
When football fans get together, sooner or later they talk about college football and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, one of the greatest teams in the history of the game. Now, for a limited time only, the Mutual Radio Network is offering an exclusive 2-record set entitled The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. This special offer won't last long. You'll be able to relive those thrilling moments that were the golden years of the Fighting Irish. Bob Considine and Pat O'Brien guide you through these exciting moments.
Notre Dame ball, third down and 15 to go on their own 16-yard line. Hanratty's behind the center. Hanratty is dropping back to pass. He's looking for all receivers. He's being rushed. Hanratty scrambles. He throws. It's a long, icing pass. It's complete. Jim Seymour has it. He's in the clear. He'll go all the way. Seymour throwing for Notre Dame.
To get your your classic two-record set, just send check or money order for $9.95 to Fighting Irish, Box 1980, Washington, D.C. That's $9.95 in check or money order, Box 1980, Washington, D.C.
Since the Super Bowl that the Vikings are over the hill, but so far in this first quarter, the Vikings have given a pretty solid answer with a 7-0 lead.
First down and 10 at the 46-yard line. Staubach looking, throwing to the right side. The pass is caught and drilled out of bounds was Drew Pearson, but he made the grab. He got a little push out of bounds, and Pearson makes the catch, and it'll be close to a first down.
Every time the fans here at Metropolitan Stadium take a look at number 88, I would imagine that they want to forget Drew Pearson because of that magnificent catch he made on that 1975 playoff game heaved by Roger Staubach in one of the most sensational games anybody ever saw.
We have not seen Tony Dorsett as yet. The backfield has consisted of Drew Pearson and Robert Newhouse. They're in the I formation. Newhouse, the front man in the I, gets the handoff from Staubach. Gets past the 45 down to the Viking 42-yard line before he is hit by Alan Page and a lot of other purple shirts. But it's going to be enough for Dallas first down. President C. Edward Little and everyone else at Mutual welcomes you to the start of the NFL season. That's going to the entire Mutual broadcasting system and around the world on American Forces Radio. Some 700 stations around the world carrying our game today.
First and 10 for the Cowboys at the Minnesota.
Cowboys have a first down. They're at the Minnesota 41-yard line. Staubach sets the line. Turns around. Gives the ball to Preston Pearson. Hits the middle. Gets it at the 40-yard line. By Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, falls forward. Gets it down to the 39. Maybe as far as the 38.
You look at the hard-nosed play of a Preston Pearson who does not have great weight. He's about 195 pounds, going into the line and taking all those licks from the big guys. He didn't even play college football. He went to Illinois, and he was a basketball player there.
At the 39-yard line, it's second down and about 7 yards to go for the Cowboys. First man out of the huddle is Drew Pearson, the veteran from Chelsea, out to the far side. Wide left, we've got Golden Richards. Deuce backfield. Strong to the left side. Here's Staubach back to throw at the 50-yard line. Dumps the ball off on the flat. It is deflected away. It was supposed to have gone in the left flat to Robert Newhouse, but it was almost picked up, and we almost had our very first big key play of the game.
And Jim Marshall was the player who did it. Jim Marshall, who longer than he would like to remember, is a graduate of Ohio State University, but he's been with the Vikings ever since the beginning at that defensive end spot. And what a player he is.
18 years ago, as a matter of fact, Pat. Cowboys huddle at the 50-yard line. We almost had a big key play for Pennzoil and Jim Marshall. He latches onto that football. He and Roger Staubach to the goal line. That would have been something to see. Shotgun formation, third down. Staubach back to throw, looking, throwing down the far sideline as Drew Pearson. If he can catch the ball, it is incomplete. Covering on the play for the Minnesota Vikings was Jeff Wright, the 5'11", 190-pound, 7-year veteran from the University of Minnesota.
And Jeff Wright did the right thing. He blocked Pearson away from the ball. It was slightly underthrown, and Pearson couldn't get to it, but he was open. And Wright made a perfect move just at the exact time when he should, so Pearson couldn't get to the ball.
Mr. Wright came very close to face guarding, as close as he's going to come all year long.
You know it.
Danny White, back to punt. Waiting for the snap. Gets it. Angles toward the far side. Kick is high, spiraling to the far side. The Vikings let it bounce, but it takes an angle bounce, and it goes out of bounds. Beautiful punt by Danny White. The Vikings gambled that it would kick and go into the end zone, but it angled out to the right and out of bounds.
A 36-yard punt for White. So the Vikings will be set back into their own territory. Fran likes to gamble in some of these situations when he's back deep. Instead of sending the backs into the middle of the line to inch out the yardage, a lot of times Tarkenton will come up on first down and just let it go with everything he has in his arm and try to hit somebody like Foreman and White or White on a deep pattern. Let's see what he does here on first down.
First and 10 at the 3-yard line. The Vikings in possession. They marched 81 yards the first time they got the football for the only score of the game. Here's Tarkenton. Throw set. Dropping back into the end zone. Looking to throw. Being harried. Throws the ball. It is incomplete. And they're going to throw the penalty mark. It's going to be a grounding call against Fran Tarkenton. The only two players near it were both linemen who were blocking, left guard and left tackle respectively, and Fran said, hey, I'm not going to get hit back here, and just dumped the ball off to the nearest purple shirt he could find.
And he was going for the long pass on that play. He was sending Ahmad Rashad, who was back in the ball game, along the far sideline, but Aaron Kyle had him blanketed on the sideline and had his own body between Rashad and the ball, and Tarkenton, seeing this, decided, well, I better do something, so he flipped the ball up around the line of scrimmage.
Well, the penalty will also be a loss of down. The grounding penalty will be a loss of down. That'll bring the ball half the distance to the goal line from the 3 down to the 1.5. And a lot of credit has to go to the left side linebacker, Tommy Henderson, who did a super job of keeping Chuck Foreman from breaking away. He held up Foreman at the line of scrimmage and just kept checking him there, and Foreman never did get out into the pass pattern. So that'll make it second down. About 11.5 yards to go. The ball is at the 1.5-yard line. Tarkenton back to throw again. Has the time. Being rushed, throws the ball up over the middle. Boyd's got it at the 10-yard line. Place to the 14 to the 15. And a Minnesota first down. Tarkenton wound up on the seat of his pants. There it is. A first down for the Minnesota Vikings. And with the score, the Minnesota Vikings 7. And the Dallas Cowboys, nothing. That's the end of the first quarter. And now this for Pennzoil. How do you know a superstar when you see one? Well, in football, it's the athlete who's always in top form, always ready to do his job. And that's what you want from the motor oil you choose to protect the engine in your car. Be sure you have a superstar in your car. Just ask for Pennzoil, because Pennzoil is always in top form. In fact, Pennzoil exceeds car manufacturers' warranty requirements. Pennzoil contains its own additive, Z7. Now, there's another way to tell a superstar, too. Can you depend on him season after season? Well, by that standard, Pennzoil is an all-star superstar. You see, America's been asking for Pennzoil ever since America learned to drive. That's quite a record of success. That's quite a reason for you to ask for the oil in the bright yellow can. So put a superstar in your car. Ask for Pennzoil.
Those of you who couldn't care less that the new GMCs are in, we propose this simple challenge. Go down to your GMC dealers and sit in one of the new GMCs. A pickup, a rally van, a Suburban, or a four-wheel drive Jimmy. Doesn't matter. Next, put the family in one of them and go drive around a little. Then come back and try to say, I don't want one. If you can do that, boy, are you strong. If you can't, welcome to the club.
Minnesota with the ball. First down and 10. Here's the handoff and barreling straight ahead and for good yardage up past the 20 to about the 23-yard line was Chuck Foreman, their fine bread and butter back. And Foreman going up the middle, getting the hard yards inside. Picks up about 7 on the play. It'll be second down and 3.
The hole opened up by Mick Tingelhoff, the veteran center, and Charles Goodrum, the right guard. And they opened up a big hole, too. Foreman can go very fast after he gets the ball. Quickness.
Second down, 3 yards to go. The ball is at the 23-yard line. Tarkenton turns around, gives the ball to his fullback, and Robert Miller bails from the 25 up to about the 28 or 29-yard line. Miller is 5'11", 204 pounds, a 3-year man out of Kansas, and he is gone for the first down.
Some of the stats in the first half in yards rushing. Dallas had 47 to Minnesota's 35. In yards passing, Minnesota had 90. Mostly gained in that first drive, and Dallas only 8.
First and 10 for Minnesota at the 29-yard line. They're out in front here by a score of 7-0. Here's a snap back over to Tarkenton. Tarkenton hands the ball off to Miller, and Miller spins around as he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Got a yard at the very most. Randy White there to make the stop on the play.
While the Minnesota Vikings were resting Foreman during the exhibition season, the preseason, they were using Robert Miller a lot, and Miller had a chance to prove to the Viking coaching staff that he could carry the load. And now they have no hesitation at all in using this back who led them in rushing in the preseason.
So second down, about 8 yards to go for the first down. Deuce backfield, wide receivers left and right. Targeting takes it, gives it to Foreman. Foreman at the 30-yard line. Gets up to about the 34-yard line before being hit from behind by several of the Cowboys and dropped right there. Randy White was on the play, so was a fellow by the name of Jethro Pugh and Ed Too Tall Jones. So the obvious passing down coming up with third down and 4. Minnesota in possession at their own 34-yard line. Top of the second quarter. 12:55 left to go, and Minnesota out in front 7-0.
First and 10 for the Cowboys.
Cowboys will put the ball in play. First down and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Preston Pearson, deep man in the backfield. Now Robert Newhousen is set along with Pearson. Turn around, Staubach fakes to Pearson, looking to throw, being pressured, throws the ball wide open to Richard at the 50. Golden Richards eludes the linebacker, falls forward at the 45-yard line. Enough yardage for the first down, a 14-yard pass play from Staubach to Golden Richards, and a Dallas first down at the Viking 45.
Golden Richards from the University of Hawaii had an off year last year, just one injury after another. And now he's back and he's healthy, and Dallas, of course, is very happy about that. And in particular, Staubach, who has another excellent receiver to throw to.
Drew Pearson goes wide to the right. Now the shift in the backfield as Newhouse spreads out. Here's the handoff, and the ball goes to Preston Pearson. And he got tangled up when he ran into Herb Scott, the pulling guard, who was dropped to the backfield for a loss by Carl Eller.
I don't think Scott is going to like that play when he reviews the films with the coaching staff, probably on Monday morning or Monday afternoon. He just did not get out quick enough, and the back, who really did not see him running, ran right into him.
2-yard loss on the play. That'll make it second down and 12. The ball is at the Viking 47-yard line. Cowboys in possession, trailing 7-0. Again, it's Drew Pearson wide to the right. Now they shift into the I formation. Staubach gets the snap. Hands the ball to Robert Newhouse, a penalty marker on the play. And Newhouse tried to cut back in to avoid the tackle by Doug Sutherland of the Minnesota Vikings. Lost his footing, fell forward at about the 46-yard line of Minnesota.
That was a misdirection play, and it was plugged up very well by the Minnesota Vikings. They saw it coming all the way. I mentioned the initial touchdown drive a moment or two ago. It was 81 yards, done mostly on passes by Fran Tarkenton. And since then, neither team has gained dominance over the other. And this is going to be a step off of the holding call, and it's going to be a 10-yard penalty going back to the 43-yard line.
So the Cowboys will have it at their own 43. The deep men now for the Minnesota Vikings. Nate Wright, Jeff Wright, Paul Krause, and Bobby Bryant. That's the deep secondary. Cowboys huddle between the 30 and the 35-yard line. A lot of surprises on the scoreboard. And don't forget, unusual tomorrow night, Lindsey Nelson and Al Wester will be in Pittsburgh to bring you the Steelers 49ers. We'll talk more about that later. Here's Staubach setting Newhouse in motion to the far side. Shotgun, and moving across the line of scrimmage was big Alan Page. Just as the ball was snapped, and who's the rep going to be against? It's going to be against the Cowboys. Dallas having little difficulty with their timing today. And Alan Page saw somebody move and started across the line of scrimmage, and another 5-yard walk-off against Dallas.
On a situation like that, you would want to be anybody else on the field but John Fitzgerald, the center of Dallas, who has a responsibility of passing the ball back. In other words, he just can't see who is in front of him. And when you have a guy playing nose guard on you like Alan Page, with his quickness and strength, you just have to have second thoughts about everything. The place to be in a situation like that is at any other position on the field.
Second down, 27. Dallas has been penalized 4 times so far in the first half, a total of 35 yards. Again, they're in the shotgun. Staubach waiting for the snap. Sends Robert Newhouse in motion to the far side. Gets the snap. Drop back to throw. He's got time. Now circling to the right. Looking, throwing the ball upfield. The big end tight end, buddy Joe Dupree, makes the grab, and he is hit and knocked out of bounds by one of the linebackers, middle linebacker Jeff Freeman, out at the 42-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings, but it's far short of being the first down.
The secret of that play was the fact that through the shotgun and through good blocking in the offensive line of Dallas, Fitzgerald in particular wiped out one of the Vikings. It was Alan Page as he was coming in. It gave Staubach time to let his receivers maneuver and to find somebody to throw to.
Third down and 7 yards to go at the Minnesota 42-yard line. Cowboys shift into the shotgun again. Five-man front four, the Vikings, all five are charging. Staubach looking, throwing up the far side, and a diving catch is made by Preston Pearson at the 30-yard line, and it's going to be enough for a Dallas first down. So the Cowboys going to the gun, and they've moved the ball now down to the 30-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. They started back at their own 41.
When a player comes up with a superb maneuver in order to make the completion of a pass, there is nothing you can really do about it. He was covered like a blanket. The ball was thrown too far. It looked like it'd be way out of his grasp, and yet he dove for it and got it.
First and 10 at the Minnesota 30. The Cowboys with their best drive early in the afternoon. The handoff to Pearson from Staubach. Circles to the right at the 30. Gets down to the 25-yard line before being tripped up on the play. It'll be a gain of 5 yards. Jeff Wright taking the hit on the play, along with left side linebacker Matt Flair. Carl Eller was also there.
The Dallas Cowboys are wearing white jerseys here on the road with blue numerals and the silver helmets and the silver pants. And the Minnesota Vikings have the normal home jerseys that you've seen so many times, the purple helmets, the purple jerseys with the white piping and numerals and the white pants.
Wide left is Butch Johnson. Out to the right, Drew Pearson. Cowboys shift into the eye. Second down and 5 at the 25 of the Vikings. Pearson moving in motion toward the line of scrimmage. Drew Pearson gets Preston Pearson goes off the tackle, and he gets that ball down to about the 22-yard line before being stopped. And now Dallas comes up with third down and just about 2.5 yards, 3 yards to go for the first down, and that signals Golden Richards to come in. Butch Johnson goes out. It's the 7-0 ball game. Dallas out in front. A lot of surprises on that scoreboard. The Washington Redskins were upset this afternoon, 20-17. The Bears knocked off Detroit, 30-20. Cleveland surprised Cincinnati, 13-3. And New England defeated Kansas City, 21-17, in what should have been a great game. Back to throw is Staubach at the 32. On the far side has Billy Joe Dupree, and he is overthrown. Billy Joe Dupree got a step and a half on the quarterback, Bobby Bryant, but Roger the Dodger had too much arm that time, the incomplete pass, and that'll bring it up to fourth down and still about 2.5 yards to go for the first down.
As yet, neither team has gotten dominance over the other, and Dupree just blew past the linebacker, McNeil, on the right side of the Viking defense and got into that secondary before Krause could get over to cover. And here comes the try for the field goal.
Johnny Waters will hold. The ball to be spotted down at the 30-yard line. Efren Herrera, 3-year man out of UCLA, will try the kick from the 30. Spotted down. The kick is up there, and it is good. Good. A 40-yard field goal by Efren Herrera. Well, and the score is now the Minnesota Vikings 7 and the Dallas Cowboys 3. Here's a word from GMC Trucks before the Dallas kickoff.
Now trucking is my inspiration, and it don't take much education to realize that GMC knows trucking.
It's come to our attention that there's still some folks around who couldn't care less that the new GMCs are in. Well, if you're one of them, we propose a simple but sporting challenge. First, go down to your GMC dealers and sit in one of the new GMCs. A pickup, a rally van, a Suburban, or four-wheel drive Jimny. It really doesn't matter. Next, put the family in one of them and go drive around a little. Then come back, climb out, and try to say these words. I don't want one. If you can do that, boy, are you strong. If you can't, welcome to the club.
Nothing goes like a GMC. Nothing goes something like a GMC. Nothing goes something like a GMC. Nothing goes something like a GMC.
the 35-yard line. It's a 7-3 ball game after Efron kicked the 40-yard field goal. The deep man is McClanahan back at the goal line for the Vikings. On the far side, Sandy White. On the near side, Robert Miller. So here's the approach jam, the kick by Herrera. It comes down to the far side. It'll be taken by McClanahan at the 3-yard line, up to the 5, the 10, up the middle at the 15-yard line. The 20 is hit and dives forward and gets up to about the 24-yard line, and that's where Minnesota will put the ball in play.
At 8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow night, Mutual will present Monday Night Football from Pittsburgh as the 49ers play the Steelers. Lindsey Nelson, the voice of Monday Night Football, will have the play-by-play, and Al Lester will provide the color.
First and 10 for Minnesota at the 44-yard line. Nick Tingelhoff, a 17-year veteran from Nebraska. Out of the huddle. Snaps it back to Tarkinen. Brand rolls to the right, throws the ball out to the left to Miller. At the 18, the 20, the screen pass to the 25, the 30, spins around, breaks the tackle, gets to the 35, and fights up to the 37-yard line, and a first down on a screen pass to the near sideline. Robert Miller from Brand Tarkenton, and the Vikings move the ball upfield to the 37-yard line.
A 13-yard gain, and he had some good company along the way. Right in front of him, two big flanking offensive linemen, Steve Riley and Charles Goodrin. Goodrin took two Cowboys out, and Riley took one Cowboy out.
First and 10 at the 37-yard line. Tarkenton rolling to the right. Throws the ball out to Foreman, and Foreman dropped it. He was wide open. Coming up to make the hit on the play was Tommy Henderson, the left side linebacker. But Chuck started to run with the ball before he had it in his grasp. Incomplete pass at the 40.
You will not see Chuck Foreman do that very often. Maybe not for the rest of the season. Tarkenton has completed 7 of 15 for 103 yards. Foreman has had 7 rushes for 24 yards so far in this game.
Out on the West Coast, they're in the second quarter. It's Baltimore 7 and Seattle 7. Now they're putting another touchdown up for Baltimore. It's a 14-7 game. The Colts out in front of the Seattle Seahawks. Slot formation to the left. One setback. Tarkenton gets the snap, dropping back to throw. Looking, going for the bomb, throwing long downfield. Pass was intended for Sandy White. Deflected, and is then intercepted. And the Dallas Cowboys have the football at the 24-yard line. Cliff Harris picked it off for the Cowboys.
Cliff Harris, noted for his hitting in the Dallas defense, was on the spot as there was a tussle for the ball. It went up like a little pop fly, and Harris zoomed under it, got it on the 23-yard line. 7-3. There's a timeout with a score of 7-3. Now, this word.
Taste of lemon, then a tangy taste of lime. Now Sprite gives you the tingle taste of lemon.
Drink has that special lemon flavor. Lemon is the secret of Sprite. It comes on bright and tingly too. Lemon is Sprite. Gives a tingle to you. Take one straight lemon soft drink.
Moment. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
National Football League action right here on WSON Henderson. It is 3:58.
Cowboys have the ball first and 10 at their own 23. We're getting our first look this afternoon at Tony Dorsett, who gets the kill and hits left tackle and runs into the waiting arms of Jim Marshall for one, and also a right side linebacker, Freddie McNeil. So Tony Dorsett, who is listed, if you believe the Dallas depth chart, as the number three tailback behind Preston Pearson and Doug Dennison. Dorsett's first carry nets the 2 yards.
An incredible 6,000 yards in his collegiate career.
The Cowboys at their 25. Butch Johnson comes wide to the right. Drew Pearson is out to the left. Here's Starbuck on the handoff. Scott Laidlaw's in the backfield, and he carries, gets the ball to the 27, 28-yard line and no more. And again, Freddie McNeil, the linebacker there to help on the hit, along with middle linebacker Jeff Seaman.
A look at some of the scores around the NFL.
Gain of 2.
Green Bay leads New Orleans 24-20 in the third quarter. Philadelphia defeated Tampa 13-3. Atlanta upset Los Angeles 17-6.
3rd and 6 for the Cowboys at their 27. Dorsett has come out of the backfield. Preston Pearson is in the backfield. Now the Cowboys go into the shotgun formation with 3rd down and 7 yards to go. The snap back to Starbuck. Roger looking to the right side, and they run it. Gets away from Carlisle at the 30 to 35. Falls down at the 37-yard line. He's got the first down. Coming up very quickly to make the hit on the play was linebacker Matt Flair. But Starbuck no way was going to run into Matt Flair. Hit the turf, and it's the first down for the Dallas Cowboys. And Minnesota's had difficulty keeping Roger the Dodger from doing his thing, scrambling.
He loves to scramble, and this is one of the things that has made him so famous as a football player. Great sense, quick feet, seems to know where to go. The big thing is protecting himself, and he did that on the last play.
Johnson wide right, Pearson out to the left. Laidlaw in the backfield along with Tony Dorsett. Starbuck, the quarterback, waiting for the snap. Gets it. Takes the handoff to Dorsett, throws to the far side. Laidlaw's out there at the 40-yard line. And the ex-Stanford star gets it up to the 45, 46-yard line before being dumped by Bobby Bryant on the play, and Freddie McNeil was also there.
In particular, Starbuck now is starting to work on McNeil, the linebacker on the right side of the Minnesota defense. This is where he is zeroing in with many of his passes. They must feel that somehow they're going to be able to beat McNeil on various plays.
Doug Sutherland gets a breather, and coming into the game now is James White, 6'4", 263-pound, two-year man from Oklahoma State. He'll be at tackle. We've got 2nd down. About a yard to go. Dorsett, the deep man in the eye. Laidlaw is the fullback. Drew Pearson motion. Handoff to Tony Dorsett. And they were ready and waiting for him. I don't believe he got the first down. Slicing in from the left side to make the hit initially was Jim Marshall.
So on 2 efforts, Tony Dorsett has drawn a crowd as the Vikings have swarmed around him on both the plays that he has received the ball on. Some more scores from around the NFL. The Bears defeated the Detroit Lions 30-20, and Washington lost its opener to the New York Giants 20-17. That's kind of an upset, stunning one.
First time ever open season loss for Redskins coach George Allen after 11 tries. Here's the handoff to Dorsett from Starbuck. Trying to shoot to the right side. Is hit and fell down at the 45-yard line. This time they had 3rd and short, about 2 yards to go. And I'll tell you, the Viking defense obviously keying on Dorsett. Jeff Seaman was there to make the stop along with Nate Wright. They did a beautiful job.
You can talk about matchups in the line, but you can, when these two teams play defense, you can look at those middle linebackers. We're seeing the best right here. We're seeing the best right here in Brunig, who has just won the middle linebacking job for Dallas. He's played flawlessly today. And the middle linebacker of the Vikings, Jeff Seaman, who made a great play when stopping Dorsett.
So it's 4th down and 2. That means that Danny White's got the front, gets the snap, and gets the ball off from the 35-yard line. It is high. Bearcat signal for by Bob Grimm at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Minnesota Vikings will put the ball in play. Vikings will put a ball in play. 1st down and 10 yards to go at their own 20-yard line. We have 3 minutes and 11 seconds left to play in the first half, and the score is 7-3. Minnesota is out in front, going 81 yards the first time they got their hands on the ball. The Dallas score came on a 40-yard field goal by Efren Herrera. And the Vikings break the huddle. Danny White comes wide to the left. Out to the right side, we've got Bob Grimm. Deuce backfield to McClanahan and Foreman. Quarterback turns around, gives the ball to McClanahan. Nope, it was Robert Miller is in there, number 35. And Miller goes nowhere. He ran right into the waiting arms of Dallas's Jethro Pugh. And the 6'6", 250-pound, 13-year veteran from Elizabeth City State wrapped him up.
Yeah, we were talking, Tony, about the veteran linemen on the Minnesota Vikings across their front four. Jethro Pugh can go right in that category, too. And he knew exactly where that last play was going.
This time it's Sammy White wide to the right and Bob Grimm out to the left. Foreman is to make that Miller in the slot. Here's Tarkenton throwing the pass over this to Voigt. He's had success with his big tight end. And Voigt with a Dallas Cowboy tagging along, hanging on, still managed to fight forward to his 31-yard line. And it looks like it's going to be enough yardage for the first down. Charlie Waters made the initial hit, but Voigt would not go down, and he fought his way to a first down at the 31.
He dragged Charlie Waters along with him after he took the ball from Tarkenton. This is the second time that it's taken about 3 tacklers to bring him down.
First and 10 for the Vikings. We're coming up to the 2-minute warning in 5 seconds. Let's see if they get this play off. Tarkenton long count, turns around, flips that ball to Foreman. Again, that play does not work. He tried to flip that ball to Chuck Foreman, and I believe the Dallas Cowboys have recovered the ball somewhere around the 27-yard line, and that's what it is. A big pot up there. They are still unscrambling. And let's see who comes up with a football. It is Dallas possession. Don't know who recovered it. The official came out with a ball. Last man to get up from the bottom of the pile was Ed Too Tall Jones. So a fumble. A fumble could be a big key play in this game. At the 29-yard line of Minnesota, the Cowboys take it over at the 29, and they are in business with Pearson wide left and Golden Richards out to the right. 2:01 left to play. They'll get this play off before the 2-minute warning. Starbuck back to throw. Being rushed, hit, got away. Now, coming back with a great second effort. The pass is thrown anyway. A great second effort by Allen Page. The pass was dumped off to the right side to Scott Laidlaw. Pass was ruled incomplete when he coughed it up. And the Viking fans here are not happy about that, but there's no doubt about it. We've got it here.
Fans here thought that Allen Page, or rather Jim Marshall, should have gone all the way. He got possession of the ball. With the score, the Vikings 7, Dallas 3. There's a timeout on the field, and now this for Las Vegas.
You know the best fun bargain in the country? You're right, it's Las Vegas. You can pack up at most any time of the year and find accommodations in the more than 38,000 first-class hotel and motel rooms. There are 12 championship golf courses and over 100 conveniently located tennis courts. If the world's greatest entertainers interest you, you'll always be lucky in Las Vegas. Shirley MacLaine is currently appearing in Caesar's Palace. The King, Frank Sinatra, starts there on September 22nd. Juliet Strauss and Foster Brooks are appearing at the Frontier through October 5th. John Davidson can be seen at the Las Vegas Hilton through September 22nd. And Rich Little plus Ben Vereen are on stage now at the Riviera. Come to the show capital of the world, Las Vegas, where there's a lot more to choose from. With plenty of daily flights from all major cities, why miss out on the Las Vegas fun bargain? Call or visit your travel agent. 53 seconds left to play in the first half. It's Vikings 7, Cowboys 3, but the Cowboys have the ball. Second down and 10 at the Minnesota 29-yard line. Here's Starbuck turning around, giving the ball to Tony Dorsett. He barrels through, fumble the football. Minnesota, did they recover? Scramble for the loose ball at the 14-yard line. Vikings recover. Dorsett ran through a hole right up the middle, was hit, coughed up the ball, and it bounded crazily toward the Minnesota goal line. And it looks like the Vikings will recover. There was a big pile-up, and the Vikings get the ball at their 15.
There, you might call it a key play. Jeff Seaman with a tackle loosened the ball from Tony Dorsett's possession on a play that actually should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage. There was no hole, but Dorsett seemed to find a little crease and scooted for yardage. Then the fatal tackle by Seaman.
Jeff White was the man who got the fumble for the Minnesota Vikings. Here's the handoff. They're going to run that ball up the middle with about a minute and 40 seconds left to play on the first down at the 15-yard line. Robert Miller makes the carry, gets that ball up to, let's say, the 19-yard line. A gain of almost 5 yards on the play. Let's take it second down. Add about 6 yards to go for the first down.
That last fumble was a very, very costly turnover for the Dallas Cowboys because they got possession of the ball in scoring territory. You expect to put points on the board. They were unable to do so.
Here's Tarkinen with a slot to the right, dropping back to throw at the 10-yard line. Eludes the tackler, throws the ball upfield. The ball is caught by Foreman, and Foreman is hit at the 28-yard line, driven back to the 26-yard line. Aaron Kyle made the stop, but Chuck Foreman has enough for the first down. They'll spot it at the 28.
Aaron Kyle, the number 1 draft choice out of Wyoming, spent much of last season on the bench, and while on the bench, it's obvious he learned his lessons. He's been absolute perfection for Dallas this afternoon. The score is the Vikings 7 and Dallas 3. We're in the second quarter. 1 minute, 5 seconds before the half. More after this special 60-second message from Mutual.
We'd like to announce a new world champion, the four-wheel drive Scout SS2. Last month in Riverside, California, the Scout SS2 beat every four-wheel drive vehicle in its class, including the Jeep CJ7. 4 out of the top 9 finishers in the off-road world championship race were Scouts. Surprising? Not when you know the Scout is made by International Harvest. See your International dealer today and take a test drive in the vehicle that won the off-road world championship. Scout SS2. We built it. You tailored it.
Being number 1 is never easy. To the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, number 1 means more than being the world's largest union. It means you deliver for 2.3 million members, the best wages, most secure family features, health, salary protection, and pension programs unsurpassed. And getting it on pays off because the Teamster Union continues to grow as workers from all walks of life discover the kind of benefits they've been missing. That's why Teamster membership is America's best buy.
Back to the action. Tarkinen under center, waiting for the snap. Gets it. Gives the ball to Robert Miller. Miller tries right tackle. Squirms through a hole. Gets past the 30. Up to about the 33-yard line. Clock running out. 55 seconds left to play. Miller gains about 5 yards on the play. And now we've got second down and about 5 yards to go for the first down. But the clock continues to run. Now showing 45 seconds.
And the Vikings, at least for the moment, have chosen to keep the ball on the ground and to keep possession and keep Dallas away from that goal line in the last few seconds.
Tarkinen has been intercepted twice this afternoon by linebacker Tommy Henderson and by Cliff Harris. So with under 30 seconds, Tarkinen dropped back to throw at the 25-yard line to the near sideline. A pass was intended for Robert Miller. Overthrown and out of bounds. Covering nicely on the play was Aaron Kyle.
That was one of those low-risk plays. Kyle had Miller covered very well. Tarkinen saw it, and he just threw the ball out of bounds rather than risk an interception, and that is smart football. 23 seconds to go now in the second quarter before halftime.
Green Bay and New Orleans. Green Bay 24, New Orleans 20, so maybe the Packs back after all. We'll have to wait and see.
At least Bart Starr has one Sunday to be happy.
And the Bears won their game handily over Detroit, 30-20.
3rd and 5.
So things are shaping up in the NFC West, rather the Central Division, the black and blue division. Wide receivers left and right, handoff. They're going to run the clock out. The ball going to Miller, and Miller runs right into the big guy, Harvey Martin, and is in at the 35-yard line. That'll make it 4th down and still 3 yards to go. 4th down and 3 yards to go. Well, the Dallas Cowboys have called a timeout here, so we'll have more after this special 60-second message.
So you've finally gotten that van you've been dreaming of for so long. Now you want to fix it up and make it really special? Pyramid Vans, 711 2nd Street in Henderson has everything you're going to need. Portholes, drink trays, custom seats, roof vents, everything. That's Pyramid Vans, 711 2nd Street, headquarters for all your van needs. Make sure your van is really different, really special. Have a look at Pyramid Vans.
Grafton's Office Supplies and Equipment, 117 North Main in downtown Henderson, with a complete line of school and office supplies. It's fun to shop in Grafton's. Just browse around. Take a look at all the items on their shelves, from typewriters to executive writing pens by Hallmark, Schaefer, and Cross, or a Stebco attaché case for all those important papers you carry with you. Grafton's Office Supply and Equipment, 117 North Main in downtown Henderson. If you need anything for correspondence, school, or the office, it's probably at Grafton's.
Vikings. The Cowboys took a timeout, but it didn't last more than 25, 30 seconds at the very most. And the walk-off, of course, ensues from the line of scrimmage. 5 yards upfield, a roughing the kicker call, and that's going to put the ball at the Minnesota 40 20-yard line. And we'll have the Minnesota team with a chance to get some points on the board if they elect to do so. 11 seconds showing on the clock now. Having been intercepted twice in the first half, what does Tarkinen and Coach Bud Grant decide? What do they decide? Do they put the ball there for the air, go for the long bomb, or do they just run out the clock and be satisfied to go in at the half, leading 7-3? We'll wait and see. Here they come out of the huddle now. Bob Grimm comes out to the left. We've got Stu Voigt, the tight end, on the right side, wide to the right on the flanker. We've got Sammy White, Deuce backfield, and the turnaround to give to Robert Miller. Miller trying to find a hole, squeezes through, gets it at the line of scrimmage, falls forward, and gets that ball up to, let's say, about the 44-yard line. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Minnesota Vikings 7 and the Dallas Cowboys 3. Now this for the Fighting Irish.
Allison, glad to see you down there. We'll be seeing you. The hospitality is always great in Dallas. In just a moment, we'll have the kickoff for the second half. But first, this word from Hilton Hotels.
There are Hilton rainbows all over the country. They're called Hilton Links. And they're anywhere you need a comfortable, convenient place to stay. Not just in the middle of big cities, but near airports and along major highways. A Hilton Inn will provide you with the same warm, friendly service you get in a Hilton hotel. Hilton Rainbow Service. So next time you're planning a trip to just about anywhere, be our guest. To reserve any Hilton, call your local Hilton reservation service or your travel agent.
Hi again, everybody. Tony Roberts along with Thad Sheridan at the Met in Bloomington, Minnesota. Sunny skies now, score 7-3. Minnesota out in front. Most of the action, for the most part, has been completed in the NFL, and a lot of surprises on the first Sunday afternoon of National Football League play. So, we have the Dallas Cowboys about to receive. They'll be moving right-left. Freddie Cox will kick off, and the third quarter about to get underway. Here's the kick. It's coming down deep. It'll be taken. It is dropped, and then it is picked up by Butch Johnson at the 5, the 10, the 15-yard line. Gets up to the 20 and is wrapped up at the 21-yard line. So Butch Johnson returns the ball to the 21-yard line, and the Cowboys are in business first and 10 at their own 21.
With the drop of the ball, Dallas was lucky they got that ball out that far. Minnesota didn't pursue too much on that particular play. They hung back on about the 20-yard line on the left side, and thus Johnson was able to get a little bit of yardage after that return play by the Dallas Cowboys was destroyed by the fumble. And there's a penalty taking it back to the 10-yard line, and we'll get the indication from the official as to what it is. It's holding against the Dallas Cowboys, so the Cowboys start with their backs to the wall at the 10-yard line, trailing 7-3 at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings.
So the Cowboys break the huddle. They've got Drew Pearson going out to the right side. In the backfield now, Preston Pearson and Robert Newhouse. They shifted to a pro set, now into an I formation. Staubach calling the signals, waiting for the snap. Gets it, turns around, pitches that ball to Preston Pearson, tries left tackle, gets from the 10 up to the 12-yard line before he's wrapped up on the play. Jeff Seaman is there, the left side linebacker. Matt Blair also on the hit, along with right side linebacker Freddie McNeil. A gain of 2 yards or so on the play, and that'll make it second down and 8. A reminder that Buick Motor Division of General Motors Corporation will award a 1978 Buick Regal for the most outstanding NFL player this year, as voted by the writers and broadcasters who actually cover the mutual game. Previous winners have been Burt Jones, Fran Tarkinen, Kenny Stabler, O.J. Simpson. Ballots are being distributed throughout the league. We'll announce the name of this year's winner during the first round of the NFL playoffs. Staubach scrambling out to the left side, throws the ball up the left sideline. Newhouse caught it, but it was out of bounds. He's gotten behind Freddie McNeil, the right side linebacker. Billy Joe Dupree, the big tight end, was also there, but Newhouse doing the juggling act finally latched onto the football, but out of bounds, so it's an incomplete pass, and that's going to make it third down and 8.
A cleverly conceived play that might have gone all the way. The execution of it was good until the last moment when the pass was thrown out of bounds. Staubach fake to Pearson, drew the whole Minnesota defense to the left, and then he moved around the other side and flipped to Newhouse. The pass, though, was out of bounds.
The 8 men now for the Minnesota Vikings. Nate Wright, Jeff Wright, Paul Cross, and Fonty Bryant. Third down and 8, and the Cowboys go into the shotgun. Waiting for the snap is Roger Staubach, standing at the 7-yard line. Takes it, drops back, looking to throw. Was going to be a screen, got hit in the end zone, got away, throws the ball up the near sideline, and a diving attempt made by Butch Johnson at the 30-yard line. There's also a penalty marker at the 18-yard line. Well, Roger the Dodger was hit and hit hard, and all he did was bounce off the Minnesota tackler in the end zone and was able to get the pass off intended for Butch Johnson down the near sideline. Apparently that penalty is against the Dallas Cowboys.
That pass was just thrown out of bounds. He was looking for any white shirt that he could get it near so he wouldn't get called for pass interference. And after Staubach threw the ball, Page and Sutherland landed on top of him. That's a lot of weight on top of one man. They have not yet stepped off that penalty, I don't believe. Now they have. It's a 5-yard assessment, and it's an ineligible man downfield, so it's going to be a fourth down coming up for the Dallas Cowboys, and 8 yards to go, and White is in the punt.
And that's always the risk, of course, when you have a fellow like the Staubach or a Tarkinen who likes to scramble. Sometimes those linemen will go downfield, and that's what happened in that case. Danny White gets the ball up in the air. Spyro coming down near side. Fair catch signal for it. Drop. Loose ball. Who's going to get it? Scramble for it. I believe the Vikings recovered, and luckily at the 45, and that could have been a Thenzoil-key play.
Yes, it could have, because there were Dallas Cowboys all over the area. A 34-yard punt. However, the Vikings ended up with the ball. The Cowboys were in the area. The ball was accessible to them. They just didn't move quickly enough for it. The Vikings grabbed control of it, and they take over with field position really that is not bad between the 46 and the 47-yard line on the near side of the field.
Bobby Grimm had to look into the sun on that particular play and had to come to the near sideline to try to field the ball and making a fair catch. And I believe we've had a timeout call. So with the score, the Minnesota Vikings 7, the Dallas Cowboys 3. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for International Scouts and the Teamsters.
We'd like to announce a new world champion, the four-wheel drive Scout SS2. Last month in Riverside, California, the Scout SS2 beat every four-wheel drive vehicle in its class, including the Jeep CJ7. 4 out of the top 9 finishers in the off-road world championship race were Scouts. Surprising? Not when you know that Scout is made by International Harvest. See your International dealer today and take a test drive in the vehicle that won the off-road world championship. Scout SS2. We built it. You tame it.
A major problem in America is the rising cost of health insurance. But did you know that 2.3 million families don't have that worry? That's right, because they're members of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. They know that their union, the world's largest, provides this protection. And that's not all. Best wages, retirement security, and countless other benefits are automatically the privilege of Teamsters. That's why so many more workers are discovering the Teamsters. The Teamsters, 2.3 million families strong and growing.
47. Vikings have the ball. First down and 10 at their own 47-yard line. Tarkinen all the way at quarterback. He's got McClanahan and Foreman in the backfield. Give the ball to Foreman. Foreman running up the middle. Past the 50 in the Dallas territory. Charges down to the 47-yard line before being tripped up on the play. A fine advance by Chuck Foreman, who was a holdout earlier. Gets the ball 6 yards upfield in the Dallas territory. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Good blocking on the left side of the offensive line of the Vikings by Charles Goodrum and Steve Riley. Riley out of USC.
This 47-yard line, the original line of scrimmage on this series, is the best field position that the Minnesota Vikings have had all afternoon. Let's see if they can capitalize. Here's the handoff. The ball going to McClanahan. McClanahan fumbled the ball. It's picked up by Chuck Foreman, and Foreman advanced the ball down to the 41-yard line. McClanahan came back from the right spot, hit the middle, was hit, tried to spin away, coughed up the football. Chuck Foreman happened to be standing there, grabbed the ball, and moved the ball up for a first down.
A very alert play for Chuck Foreman, getting some extra yardage. And it's first down, 10 yards to go now for the Minnesota Vikings. And they've got the ball on the 42-yard line in Dallas Cowboy territory.
Third quarter action on Jody Roberts along with Pat Sheridan. We're at the Met in Bloomington, Minnesota, and it's the Vikings 7, Dallas 3. Tarkinen for Minnesota. Turns around, gives the ball to Foreman. Foreman's got a blocker out in front of him. Outruns one defender. Turns in, gets down to the 35, 34-yard line. They'll say he went out of bounds at the 35-yard line. of the Dallas Cowboys, knocked out of bounds by Cliff Harris.
And Foreman on that play just showed his brilliance because McClanahan missed his block. McClanahan took a bead from the Dallas defense. The big defensive lineman charging in on the play was Jethro Pugh, missed the block. There were two Dallas men in the area, and Foreman just ran around him.
There'll be second down and 3 yards to go for Minnesota. They have reached the Cowboy 35-yard line. Slot right, the slot man on the right side is Sammy White. Here's Tarkenton rolling to the right after faking the handoff. Dumps the ball out. The pass poorly thrown. Otherwise, it could have been a big play, a key play. The pass was intended for Brett McClanahan, who was coming out of the backfield.
And on that play, the linebacker on the far side of the field was blitzing. And that meant that the whole area was clear. And Tarkenton obviously saw this coming, checked off, and sent that pass in the back into the area that the linebacker left.
Chuck Foreman had gone out down the far sideline, and he was taken by right side linebacker Tommy Henderson. So that's third down now, and 3 yards to go for the first down. The ball is at the Dallas 35-yard line. Wide to the left is Bob Grimm. We have not seen Ahmad Rashad since he was shaken up early in the game. Wide to the right is Sammy White. Again, Tarkenton rolling to the right, looking back to the left, looking, going to throw this ball, gets it off to the tight end. 2 Boyd quick to tackle at the 25, the 20, the 15, down to the 11-yard line. 2 Boyd certainly has to qualify for one of the outstanding player of the game awards today because he was able to take the pass, break the tackle at the 30, gets down to the 25, and advances the football inside the 15 down to the 11, and a big play for the Minnesota Vikings, a key play.
Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayintheNFL.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayintheNFL.com.
And that brings their drive down to the 11-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys.
Tony, that's the third key play that he has come up with, a 23-yard gain, and Henderson hit him with all he had in the small of the back, and he just bounced off as Boyd wheeled his way right upfield.
Sammy White goes wide to the left. It's Bob Grimm out to the right. First down at the 11-yard line. Minnesota in possession, leading by 4, 7-3. The Vikings were 2.5-point favorites. Handoff goes to Foreman, and Foreman stops momentarily at the line of scrimmage, gets inside the 10, and gets down to the 8-yard line before being hit and stopped on the play. And again, it's Cliff Harris to come up and make the stop for the Dallas Cowboys.
The Minnesota Vikings, when they run the ball, are a right-handed team. They always go to the right, in particular behind their big all-league tackle, Ron Yeri. But they have been going to the left today. But now that they get near pay dirt down around the 8-yard line, back to the old system. Back behind Ron Yeri on the right side.
Drive started at the Minnesota 47-yard line. It has now reached the Dallas 7-yard line. Make that the 8-yard line. Second down and 7 yards to go. Tarkenton looking for somebody. He throws that ball, and it was batted right back into his face. And the man who did the batting was Big Ed Jones, 6'9", got that left hand up and swatted the ball down.
Jones came in so fast on that play, it looked like he wasn't blocked at all. Such was not the case, however. Yeri obviously was blocking him, but Jones put on a good move to the inside. Yeri must have been expecting the outside move. On third down efficiency, the Vikings are 3 of 7. When you talk about third downs to coaches, they'll tell you the first down is the most important one. That's where you have to get the yardage in order to get the first down.
The ball resting at the Minnesota, at the Dallas 8-yard line. Nick Tingelhoff out over the football. Here come the Vikings now, and a slot to the right. One setback, that's Foreman. Tarkenton back to throw. Has the time, looking, pumps a couple of times, and his tackle is sacked for a loss. There's a sack by the big guy, Harvey Martin, coming in from the right side. Tarkenton just could not find anybody open. Pumped 3 or 4 times. Couldn't shake anybody free. Looked like he might decide to run, but was hit by Harvey Martin. And the sack brought Francis all the way back to the 23, 24-yard line. Big loss.
You won't believe this, Tony. This is the first sack of Tarkenton of the game by a front four that has amazing quickness and size. And it was done by Harvey Martin from East Texas State, who led the Cowboys in sacks last year.
Straight up the middle field goal attempt here by Freddie Cox. Paul Krause will hold. It'll be a 41-yard kick. Snap down kick is up there. Looks like it is no good. It was off to the left. Off to the left. There's a timeout with the score. The Minnesota Vikings 7. The Dallas Cowboys 3. Now this word. 7-3, Minnesota out in front. Freddie Cox just missed a 41-yard field goal attempt. We've got 10:19 left to play in the third quarter. And again, a reminder, Lazy Boy Cheer Company will award a Lazy Boy recliner to the outstanding offensive and outstanding defensive players in today's game. Our judge, Cooper Rotto, for our judges, that is, Cooper Rotto of the Chicago Tribune, Ralph Reeve of the St. Paul Pioneer Press, Alan Hobart of the Minneapolis Tribune will announce the winners at the conclusion of today's game. So the Cowboys take over at the 24-yard line. I formation. Here's Starbuck turning around, giving the ball to Preston Pearson, finds a hole, scurries out to the right side. Wait a minute, he did not give it to him. Gave the ball to Drew Pearson instead. Beautiful ball handling by Roger Starbuck. Faked me right out of Metropolitan Stadium. A fake handoff to Drew Pearson up the middle, rather to Preston, and Drew Pearson got the ball and carried it for a first down up to the 35-yard line, an 11-yard advance.
The amazing thing about that play is that Carl Eller, the left defensive end for the Vikings, had the interference all tied up at about the 15-yard line and apparently had the play completely stopped. He had Rafferty and Pat Donovan all wrapped up, and Pearson had to go wide, and he did it all on his own. He had no help at all on that reverse.
Butch Johnson comes wide to the left, Drew Pearson out to the right. Now moving into a slot position is Drew Pearson. Handoff goes to Robert Newhouse, and Newhouse hits that proverbial stone wall. He got to the 35 as far as the 36, and then he was hit by Jeff Seaman and a lot of other purple shirts there. A gain on the play of maybe a yard and a half, 2 at the very most. Let's call it 1. Second down and 9 yards to go for Dallas at the Dallas 36-yard line. They trail 7-3.
This has not been an error-free game. There have been 8 turnovers in this game, 3 fumbles for Minnesota, 1 fumble lost, 1 fumble for Dallas.
Richard wide to the right, Drew Pearson out to the left. Starbuck takes the snap, back to throw. Looking, throwing, intended for Pearson off. It's the big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, and he is hit and knocked down. Bobby Bryant was going down the near sideline with Drew Pearson, and Billy Joe Dupree got behind Fred McNeil, and he's kind of been a soft spot in that Viking defense, especially on the passing game. And Billy Joe Dupree got away from McNeil and took the pass, and it's another Dallas first down, this time down to the Minnesota 41.
24 yards, Tony, and they've been working McNeil over all afternoon. And that was kind of a mismatch, really, with Dupree having such a big height advantage over McNeil.
Billy Joe lines up on the right side. He's out there along with Drew Pearson wide left. We've got Richard. Here's the snap. Starbuck back to throw. That was Butch Johnson instead. Starbuck looking. He is going to be sacked and dropped, wrapped up at the 49-yard line. And that's the first sack for the Minnesota Vikings. And the credit goes to Alan Page. A big play, a key play for Alan Page.
This Minnesota Viking front four has not played as if they have an awful lot of years on them. They have been playing with a lot of aggressiveness, verve. And on that play, Page was hanging back as kind of a safety man in the middle while the other 3 rushed. Came bursting in when he saw that Staubach was going to cut out of the pocket and possibly run or throw from the left side, and once he did get out of the pocket.
9-yard loss makes it second down and 19 to go for the Cowboys, who trail 7-3. We're in the third quarter. Seconds ticking away. Staubach back to throw, looking, being rushed, throws the ball. It is. Was it caught? It was not caught by Robert Newhouse. And I want to tell you, Roger Staubach took one in the chest. A good shot from Carl Eller. Just as he unloaded, Eller hit him chest high and drilled him into the turf here at the Met.
This is one of the best games I've seen Eller play in a long, long time. He has been all over the field, and most particularly, he has sealed off that left side of the Viking defense. He's been a factor in this game.
So that'll make it third down now, and still 19 yards to go for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got the ball at the Minnesota 49-yard line. Drew Pearson goes wide to the right. Butch Johnson comes out to the left. We've got Robert Newhouse in the backfield, along with Preston Pearson. Now out to the far side is Jay Saldy, the tight end. Back to throw from the shotgun. Staubach unloads right up the middle. It goes incomplete. Pass was intended for Drew Pearson. He was well covered on the play. The pass was too long. Pearson standing at the 24-yard line, hands on hips, looking down at the ground.
On that play, the Vikings had every single man that Dallas sent down from that shotgun covered. It was superb coverage. And also, Roger Staubach just missed on that pass, but there was good coverage on that play, and they might not have had a completion if Staubach had been on the mark.
Danny White is back to punt. Danny White standing at the 36-yard line. Bob Grimm is the man at the 10-yard line. He gets the snap, puts the ball up in the air, and let's see what Grimm will do. Will he let it go? Nope, he calls for the fair catch. Bobbing the ball at the 5-yard line. Bob Grimm taking the ball at the 5-yard line, and the Minnesota Vikings will put the ball in play. First down and 10 yards to go at their own 5-yard line. With the score, the Minnesota Vikings 7 and the Dallas Cowboys 3. There's a timeout on the field. Now this for Pennzoil. How do you know a superstar when you see one? Well, in football, it's the athlete who's always in top form, always ready to do his job. And that's what you want from the motor oil you choose to protect the engine in your car. Be sure you have a superstar in your car. Just ask for Pennzoil, because Pennzoil is always in top form. In fact, Pennzoil exceeds car manufacturers' warranty requirements. And Pennzoil contains its own additive, Z7. Now, there's another way to tell a superstar, too. Can you depend on him season after season? Well, by that standard, Pennzoil is an all-star superstar. You see, America's been asking for Pennzoil ever since America learned to drive. That's quite a record of success. That's quite a reason for you to ask for the oil in the bright yellow can. So put a superstar in your car. Ask for Pennzoil. Remember, in today's game, there's going to be one key player involved in the key play of the game, and he's going to get a gift supply of the amazing new PZL Extended Life Motor Oil for his reference. Here's the handoff by Tarkenton, and trying the left side and getting up past the 5 up to maybe the 6 or 7 yard line, and that's about it. I believe it was Robert Miller. Miller getting the call. And it's going to be a gain of maybe 2 yards at the very most. Second down and 8 yards to go. And it begins to cloud up here. And again, there's always been the threat of rain here this afternoon. They've had a lot of rain in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, Bloomington area, in the last 24 hours. But the field is in excellent condition.
This may be the most important series of the game for the Dallas Cowboys. If their defense holds, they'll end up with the ball in good field position for their offense.
First play from the 5, net at 2 yards. Second down, 8 yards to go from the 7. Tarkenton dropping back, looking, throwing the ball, wide open. Pass is caught. There's a penalty marker on the play. A penalty marker on the play. The pass was caught by Bob Grimm at the 21-yard line. More than enough for a Minnesota first down. But there may be a holding rap against the Minnesota Vikings.
They had Bob Grimm isolated on 2 linebackers on that play, on D.D. Lewis and on Bob Bruning, and they were both disgusted. However, and this is a big break, a key play for Dallas, because it looks like the penalty is going to be against the Minnesota Vikings, and if it is, that big gain that got the Vikings out of the hole will be eliminated. They're talking to the Dallas Cowboys right now, and apparently Dallas is being informed of exactly what the infraction on the play was. Now, the important thing for Dallas is to keep Minnesota pinned back in this territory, and the step-off is half the distance to the goal against the Minnesota Vikings, and it's a holding call. So it's a bad break for the Vikings and a new life for the Dallas defense.
Second penalty against the Vikings, and the holding was made against Steve Lottie, number 78, and he was guilty of holding Harvey Martin. Martin, after the play was over, was pointing the finger at Lottie, a 6'6", 258-pound, 5-year veteran from Southern California. So the ball is at the 3.5-yard line. It's now second down, about 12.5 to go for the first down. Tarkenton dropping back to throw. Looking, dumps the ball up over the middle. Foreman's got it at the 12-yard line. Spins around to the 14. And he is hit and ridden down there, but there are penalty markers. There's one at the 17-yard line. Just as soon as Tarkenton unloaded, a penalty marker was thrown, and the pushing call is going to be against Minnesota. It's going to be offensive pass interference against the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, that call was made by Jim Poole, the back judge, and the walk-off goes now against the Vikings. They did not get first down territory on that last play with the completion. And so now they have it stepped back even farther. It goes down to the 2-yard line, right inside the 2, as a matter of fact. And this is where the Vikings have to gain the yardage in order to get a bit of security in this game.
Pat, if we're really going to be precise, it's at the 1 3/4 line, because that's half the distance from 40 and a half. And we're really dealing in fractions here, and those fractions mean so very much, because now we have second down, 14 and a fraction yards to go for a first down. Twice now, Tarkinen has drilled passes to receivers who were open in the secondary. Bob Grimm the first time. This time it was Chuck Foreman, and twice the Vikings have been caught. They've committed an infraction, and now Tarkinen will have to do it all over again. Second down and 14 plus. Grimm is wide to the right. Here's Tarkinen rolling to the left, being chased, looking, may run it. At the 5, at the 10, and wisely steps out of bounds somewhere around the 11-yard line, because coming up to make the hit was the veteran Mel Renfro. So Tarkinen on a rollout to the left, gets the ball out deep territory, the 1 3/4-yard line. They'll spot it down right around the 10.
So Tarkinen gives the Vikings a little bit of a life here. They've got third down and 6 yards to go. Will be huddling back on their own goal line. And now, probably the most important play of the game for the Dallas Cowboys defense. They want to hold the Vikings deep in their own territory so their offense can get the ball back in superb field position, probably in Viking territory.
Vikings are now faced with third down and about 6 yards to go. They are 3 of 8 third down conversions. Let's see what happens here. Tarkinen ready. 2 setbacks, wide receivers left and right. Long count gets the snap, blitzing the Cowboys. Tarkinen throwing the ball up for grabs. The Cowboys were blitzing on the play, no doubt about that. The blitz was coming, and we've got what? A grounding. Wait a minute. No, roughing the passer call. It's going to be a roughing the passer call against the Dallas Cowboys.
You were talking about pointing the finger before. On that last one, Tarkenton was the one to point the finger, and he pointed that finger at Randy White, the defensive tackle, and the walk-off goes all the way to the 25-yard line, and the Vikings now get a life as a result of the penalty.
That could be a very big key play.
Yes.
Personal foul, roughing the passer called against the Dallas Cowboys, and now the Vikings have some breathing room. Now remember, this all started back at the 5-yard line, and subsequent penalties brought it back to the 1 3/4-yard line. So the Minnesota Vikings have the ball. The seconds tick away. 6:32 left to go in the third quarter. Tarkinen saw the blitz coming that time, just couldn't step back quick enough and unload because he knew he was going to be hit. Handoff goes to Robert Miller. Miller tries the left side, and he's not going to go anywhere. He was hit by the middle linebacker, Bob Brunig, who dropped him right there at the 45-yard line.
Interestingly enough, on the play before this, on the penalty play, Tarkenton had a slight debate with Randy White. On the next play, he calls a trap over White's position, and White wasn't there, by the way. He was wiped out on the play, but Brunig covered from his middle linebacker position. He's played almost perfect football this afternoon.
The Baltimore Colts are out in front of the Seattle Seahawks, 16-7. That game is in the third quarter at the Kingdome. Here with second down and 10 yards to go. Tarkinen faking the handoff, rolling to the right, dumping the ball off the 12 at the 34 to 35. He has fumbled a football. It's picked up by Charlie Waters. Waters looking for blockers. Penalty marker on the play. Waters out of the 30-yard line and brought to a standing halt at the 30-yard line. He was brought to a halt by offensive tackle Ron Yari, who would like to bulldog him right there. But Chuck Foreman took that little dump pass when Tarkinen rolled out to the right. Tarkinen now talking to the officials. And the ball will be put down at the 41-yard line. There's going to be a flipping call against the Dallas Cowboys. So instead of having the ball at the 41-yard line, they will have the ball at their own 44-yard line. A fumble by Chuck Foreman. And again, the Viking offense has given up the football twice now by interceptions and 2 times by fumbles.
Yes, this has been a game of turnovers, and at times it's been a little sloppy. Certainly that last play was definitely sloppy, but now the Cowboys have good field position, not as good as it would have been, but they've got it on the 44-yard line thanks to an alert Charlie Waters.
First and 10 for the Cowboys at their own 44-yard line. Starbuck sets the offense. Goose backfield, slot right. Slot man is the big tight end, Billy Joffrey. Here's the handoff going to Robert Newhouse, and Newhouse runs right into the Minnesota Vikings. Alan Page at the line of scrimmage, and Page drops him right about at the 45-yard line. Give him a gain of maybe a yard. It'll be second down and about 9 yards to go for the first down.
It doesn't look to me like Alan Page has lost a single thing in his position at tackle. He still looks quick, he still looks strong, and certainly he's a lot smarter football player than he was 6 or 7 years ago.
Miami Dolphins defeated the Buffalo Bills this afternoon, 13-0. Back to throw Staubach from the 35. Looking, throws the ball up the middle. The pass, was it caught? I believe it was by Big Billy Joe Dupree. The sure-fingered tight end grabbed the ball at the Minnesota 42-yard line, and it's enough for a Dallas first down.
Well, there were two Vikings all over Dupree on that play, and the one closest to him was Jeff Seaman, and yet Dupree made a great catch. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
This is WSON Henderson. It's 4:59, Radio 86, Sunday afternoon.
First and 10 for the Dallas Cowboys at the 41-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. I formation. Deep man in the eye is Preston Pearson. Back to throw is Roger Staubach looking, throwing long down the left side. Pass intended for Drew Pearson. It is overthrown. He was very ably covered on the play by Bobby Bryant, the veteran from Auburn.
Yeah, Bryant was on that play all the way. As a matter of fact, he was ahead of the receiver Pearson as he was heading for the end zone. Bryant saw that coming. As a matter of fact, he gave Pearson about 10 to 15 yards at the initial part of that play and was really just waiting for him on about the 10-yard line. Staubach, seeing this, just overthrew the ball.
I said Auburn. Bobby Bryant played his college ball at South Carolina.
Yeah, he was a Gamecock.
My apologies. 7-3, Minnesota out in front. Time winding down. Third quarter, it's down to 4:18. The ball is at the 41-yard line of the Vikings. 47,678 here. At the Mets, the lights are on, cloudy skies. Staubach with the ball, turns around, gives the ball to Preston Pearson, and Pearson is hit and again wrapped up by Alan Page. Makes the ankle-high grab, and then Freddie McNeil comes in to put on the finishing touches.
Well, McNeil was there on a big play. Certainly Dallas, seeing that the Minnesota Vikings expected pass, called a trap right up the middle, but McNeil came into cover. He was assisted by Alan Page on the play, and Dallas is definitely frustrated now with a third down coming up and 10 long yards to go.
1 and 2 running plays. The Cowboys have managed to move the ball up about 2 feet, just past the 41-yard line. Now they go into the shotgun with third down and about 9 yards to go. Staubach at midfield, looking, throwing down the right sideline. Long pass, and again it is intended for Drew Pearson, and again it is overthrown. So Staubach cannot connect with Drew Pearson down the right sideline on a fly pattern, and the Cowboys will be faced with fourth down and 9 in a punting situation.
He had about a yard, a step on Nate Wright on the left side of the Viking defense, but they just couldn't make connections on the play. The Vikings really put too much pressure on in order for Staubach to complete a long pass. So it's a punting situation, and the Cowboys couldn't cash in on the opportunity.
3:31 on the clock. Danny White standing up the Dallas 44-yard line, waiting for the snap. Lone safety is Bob Grimm for the Minnesota Vikings, and somebody moved across the line of scrimmage a little too quickly. The Vikings pointing the finger at the Dallas Cowboys, saying they drew us offside, and it's going to be a call against Dallas. Somebody on the Dallas right side made a move, and in doing so, Steve Craig, tight end, is on the specialty teams, made contact with a Cowboy lineman, and it's a 5-yard walk-off against the Dallas Cowboys, and that's going to bring the ball back to the 46-yard line, and now White will move back another 5, and he's standing at the 39 of the Cowboys waiting to punt.
That's the 9th penalty on Dallas, 85 yards.
Here's the boot by Danny White, angled toward the far side. Robert Miller has a... Oh, did Bob Grimm touch it? The ball is far, it's in the end zone, and apparently he did not touch it. Fortunately, for the Minnesota Vikings. Wait a minute now. The Cowboys, of course, are all congregating around the official, claiming that Bob Grimm touched the ball, and it went right between his legs. The ball wound up in the end zone. Dallas fell on the football. Jay Salty is very unhappy about the call, but the officials' call is going to stand up, and there is a key play, my friend. The ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line where Minnesota will have it, 1st and 10, and you have to wonder how that didn't happen, how Bob Grimm did not touch the ball.
It went under him. He looked like a shortstop trying to field a ground ball. Bob Brunig was there on top of the play, and it looked like Brunig got a piece of the ball in the end zone and might have come up with a touchdown for a middle linebacker. It isn't often a middle linebacker has that opportunity.
The ball hit in front of Robert Miller. It carried away from him, went right between the legs, apparently, of Bob Grimm, or by him, into the end zone. It looked for a moment like it was going to be Dallas touchdown had he touched the ball, but apparently the official said no, it did not happen. And the Minnesota Vikings, of course, going to get the ball first down and 10 at their 20-yard line. Remember, the Buick Motor Division of General Motors Corporation will award a 1978 Buick Regal to the most outstanding NFL player this year, as voted by the writers and broadcasters who actually cover the mutual game. Previous winners have Burt and Burt Jones, Fran Tarkenton, Kenny Stabler, and O.J. Simpson. The ballots are being distributed throughout the league. We'll be announcing the name of this year's winner during the first round of the NFL playoff games. And boy, we have had some kind of surprises, at least 4 upsets this afternoon, starting with Cleveland over Cincinnati 13-3, Green Bay beating New Orleans 24-20, the Rams losing to the Atlanta Falcons at Atlanta 17-6, and Coach Lehman Bennett, who was on the staff of the Rams last year, has to be the happiest guy in the NFL today. He's now the coach of the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Redskins. For the first time in 12 years as a head coach, George Allen does not win the season opener. His record is now 11-1, Giants 20, and the Redskins 17, another upset.
Well, you were mentioning Lehman Bennett. It's always tough for a head coach when he has to face one of his former assistants, particularly one who has been close to him, because that assistant has learned how he thinks.
All right, the Cowboys on defense. The Vikings come out of the huddle at the 20-yard line. They'll put the ball in play. Nick Tingelhoff out over the football. Wide to the right, we've got Sammy White. Bobby Grimm is out to the left. Robert Miller and Chuck Foreman to the backfield along with Fran Tarkenton. Foreman gets the call, and he gets hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss as Harvey Martin charges in from the right side, grabs him around the ankles, and drops him back at the 16-yard line. They'll put us down at the 17. It'll be a loss of 3, second and 13.
You look at a Harvey Martin who is 6'5". He's got all kinds of size, well over 250 pounds, and you wonder, how can a guy that big be that quick and agile? Well, you might say that about the whole Dallas front four. Tarkenton is 10 of 22 for 147 yards, but he does have 2 interceptions. The big one, though, was the touchdown throw to Foreman, and that's the difference in the game.
Tarkenton now checks the offensive alignment. He's got White out to the left. He's got Grimm out to the right. Back to throw. Nope, he hands the ball to Foreman. This time puts it in his dummy. Foreman has the ball penalty marker on the play. He's fighting for yardage, gets the ball up to about the 19-yard line. And Tarkenton dropped back the throw and then tucked the ball into Foreman's dummy. Foreman circling left. Gets the ball up to the 19-yard line, but there's a holding call against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikes have been penalty-plagued in the last few minutes.
Yes, they have been, and as a matter of fact, the whole game has come up with a whole bunch of penalties. On that last play, Foreman might have broken that all the way. Tingelhoff, the center, was blocking Cliff Harris, and Harris, when he saw Foreman coming his way, just cut right in front of Tingelhoff before Tingelhoff could seal Cliff Harris to the outside and let Foreman go through the hole. And that's the difference on that play. The penalty has been assessed down to the 8-yard line, and now the referee is going to indicate holding is the call. So the Vikings go back and have their backs against the wall now, and if the Dallas defense can hold them, once again, good field position for the Cowboys.
2 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in the third period. We've got a second down and 21 situation.
Down and 21 for the Vikings.
Out to the left, we've got Sammy White. Out to the right side, we've got Bob Grimm. The quarterback is Fran Tarkenton. Waiting for the snap, he has one lone setback, and that's Chuck Foreman. Will Foreman come out of the backfield? Nope. Here's the toss to Foreman, and they were waiting for him. Henderson was just waiting. Tommy Henderson, the Dallas linebacker, playing the waiting game, staying right at home, waiting for Foreman, who did not block anyone, to slip out of the backfield as Tarkenton drifted back toward the goal line. And just as soon as Francis delivered the ball, Henderson came up and hit Foreman. He coughed it up, incomplete pass.
That was a beautiful play by Henderson and an intelligent play. He didn't react to all that was happening in the backfield. He knew his assignment on the play, looked for Foreman, and when Foreman got the ball, he was right on top of him. And that's what you want your linebackers to do. You don't want them out of position. You want them to be in the right place at the right time. 7-3 in favor of the Vikings. We're in the third quarter. 2:24 to go.
Minnesota faced with a third down and 21-yard situation. The ball at their own 9-yard line. And Tarkenton again has Foreman as a lone setback. He's going out for the pass. Francis back to throw, throwing long upfield, does not have anybody, and we've had an interception. That's the third pass intercepted, and that's one here for Cliff Harris. Harris has his second pass interception of the afternoon, and the Dallas Cowboys have taken over the football at the Minnesota 46-yard line.
Within the space of a few minutes, Tony, two key plays by Harris. First, he drew the hole on that one play where the Vikings were penalized deep into their own territory. And now Cliff Harris from Wachita Baptist College comes up with a big interception. And the Cowboys have the ball in Minnesota territory on the Minnesota 46. And I need say no more about the advantage that Dallas has now.
First down and 10. For the Dallas Cowboys in Minnesota territory. Deuce backfield, wide receivers left and right. Shifted to the eye now. Roger Staubach, the quarterback, pitching out to Preston Pearson at the 50, at the 45, still dancing, hit by McNeil, and also not by McNeil, but by the left side linebacker, Matt Blair, and also by Jeff Seaman, and ridden down, but not before he got it down inside the 45, down to, let's say, the 43-yard line. A gain on the play of about 3 yards. That'll make it second down and 7 for the Cowboys.
On a play such as the Dallas Cowboys executed on the last down, where they go wide, the job of the outside linebacker is to string that play out. And Blair did it to perfection. He had the sideline sealed.
Second down and 7 at the Minnesota 43. Dallas in possession, trailing 7-3. Staubach back to throw, looking, has to throw the ball out to the right side. Was the pass trapped or was it caught? I believe they're going to rule catch down at the 39-yard line. And a diving grab was made out there. Preston Pearson made the catch, and a fine catch it was. Picked it off a blade of grass. It's third down now, and still a good 3 yards to go for the first down for the Cowboys.
On that last play, Blair had given Pearson a little bit too much yardage, a little too much leeway. He was respecting his speed too much. And still, that play shouldn't have been completed. It was a sensational catch.
Third down. 4 yards to go, they say. The ball at the 39-yard line. The Dallas Cowboys in possession. They're in Minnesota territory. Staubach drifting back to the 50, and a tremendous charge was put on Roger Staubach, and he is sacked for the second time this afternoon. Staubach was sacked by James White, the junior man from Oklahoma State, 6'4", 263, who just bore in low and hard. It would not be blocked out. And that's going to drop Roger all the way back at the 48-yard line of Dallas.
That was a beautiful play by White. He just flew by the offensive tackle, Pat Donovan, who used to play defense, and he is from Stanford, a 13-yard loss.
Danny White back to punt. And again, the defense comes into play. There's the key play for you. In high snap, and White gets the ball off. It's high. It's coming down near side. Bobby Grimm takes it on the run, follows it, gets it back again, tries to come up the side, is hit and knocked down on the spot right around the 22-yard line. Oh, Bobby Grimm probably gave Bud Grant a little bit of heart failure there because he took the ball on the run. The last time he tried that play, he fumbled it. This time, the ball popped up in the air. No one close enough to him to make any difference. Grabbed the ball on the run, tried to turn it upfield, and got a couple of yards on the play. It'll be first down and 10 at the 23 for the Minnesota Vikings.
A 35-yard punt. A long time ago, I had a conversation with then Oregon State coach Dee Andrews, who told me, as we were chatting, that he had a great young player in his team, and he would hope that the pros were interested in him. It was Bobby Grimm, and he's had a long pro career.
Here's the handoff to Foreman. Foreman breaking away from one tackler past the 25-yard line. Gets it up to the 27-yard line. So a gain on the play by Foreman going off the left side. Foreman gets to 3-4 yards on the play. They'll make it second down and 6 yards to go. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Minnesota Vikings 7 and the Dallas Cowboys 3. Now this for Buick Automobiles and GMC Trucks.
Right now, something rather special is happening at your Buick dealer. Something that just could be the open door to the kind of car you've been looking for. Announcing Buick's open door policy. An open invitation to come in and inspect, examine, and really discover why the 1977 Buicks are selling better than any other Buicks in history. Take a good close look at the Electra, for example. That's what the open door door policy is all about. To discover all the extra touches, the fit, the feel, the finish of the paint that make Electra a Buick. And discover also that according to EPA estimates for the standard 350 cubic inch V8 engine with automatic transmission, Electra got 22 miles per gallon in the highway test and 15 city. That's 17 miles per gallon combined. Your actual mileage may vary, and California estimates are lower. Now that's some full-size car. Buick's open door policy, a real opportunity to discover the finer points of our Buick automobiles and discover that this is a great time to buy a new Buick. The door is open at your Buick dealer.
Wish that big, beautiful GMC rally van you spotted on your way home was yours, don't you? You're itching to get the troops together and head for the hills, longing to load up that big cargo space. But you just can't bring yourself to be the first on your block to buy a truck. And after all, what'll the neighbors say? Well, most likely what they'll say is, "Hey, old pal, can we borrow your GMC van?"
Twice by fumbles, and they still out in front by a score of 7-3. Chuck Foreman tries the middle of the Dallas defense to shove back. His forward progress will take him up to the 29-yard line, an advance of about 2 yards. And Minnesota is now faced with third down and, let's say about 3 yards to go for the first down. And the Cowboys go into their nickel defense by inserting Mel Renfro and Randy Hughes and putting out their linebackers, D.D. Lewis and Bob Brunick.
It'll be a 3rd and 4 situation, and Minnesota has had 3 passes intercepted up to this point. I would imagine that Bud Grant should be biting his nails at this time, what with those 3 interceptions and a good Dallas defense.
The ball up the Minnesota 29-yard line. Here's Tarkinen back to throw, straight drop back, looking, tries to get up the middle, tries to throw the ball. It wasn't intercepted. They're going to call it a trap. It was called a trap. Had it been intercepted, that would have been the 3rd pass interception for Harris today. Henderson picked one off. Harris has picked 2 off. Tarkinen under a lot of pressure, tried to dump the ball off. The pass is a bad one. Fortunately for the Vikings, it was low.
Give credit to Larry Cole, the defensive tackle who plays part-time in that defensive line. He's from Hawaii. He made a great play on it, unloosening Tarkinen from his pocket position.
Butch Johnson is back. Play ball. Gets the ball high in the air. Johnson has to chase it on the far side of the field. Takes it on the run. 38, 40, 45, and out of bounds somewhere around the 49-yard line. Nice play by Butch Johnson, who had to run to the far side of the field, take the ball on the run. Quavo's been averaging 39 yards, a little better than that, 39.5 in the first 2 punts. That one was worth 33 yards. Robert Newhouse coming into the backfield, and Dallas will put the ball in play. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line.
You've got to hand it to the Minnesota Viking defense because almost all of this second half, the Dallas Cowboys have had field position, and they haven't even been able to come up with a field goal try. So the Minnesota defense, even though their offense can't get them out of the hole, has come up with a big play. There's a timeout with the score, Minnesota 7, Dallas 3. Now this word.
Staubach has the line set. He's got Newhouse and Preston Pearson in the backfield. Drops back to throw. Looking, being hit. Gets away from one man. Is hit by another. And again, the guy that made the stop was James White. That's the 3rd time that Staubach has been sacked. The initial hit was made by the defensive line, Carl Eller. And then it looked like Staubach might spin away from him, and James White threw him to the ground.
James White, the first-round draft choice from Oklahoma State, came in and made a big play after Eller slowed down Staubach. I'm surprised Staubach didn't go down on Eller's tackle because He hit him like a pile driver. Eller took the outside route on that and got away from the right tackle, Ralph Neely.
All right, we've got 9-yard loss on the play. Second down and 19 to go for the Cowboys. Here's Starbuck back to throw. Being pressured again. Throws the ball upfield. It is caught by Newhouse. Newhouse still on his feet, fighting, tries to get the ball up to midfield. He certainly did get it up to the line of scrimmage right around the 48-yard line. So a 9-yard pass play as Roger Starbuck, under tremendous pressure, dumped the ball off to Robert Newhouse.
That former Houston Cougar certainly has shown on the few chances he's had to run and receive passes that he plays with an aggressiveness that can lift his team up and inspire them.
13 minutes and 5 seconds left to play, and now the Cowboys, trailing 7-3, are faced with 3rd and 10 back at the original line of scrimmage, the 48-yard line. They've got Drew Pearson out to the right. In his slot, the big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. Here's Starbuck from the shotgun, takes a low snap. Looking, fires the ball up over the middle. Preston Pearson diving for it, and the pass is incomplete. Coming over to cover on the play, another veteran, Bobby Bryant. So the incomplete pass, the Vikings defense stiffens, and we will have a punting situation here.
And doesn't that Viking defensive platoon get a big hand? The fans of Bloomington are loving what they've done. They've sealed off any normal pattern for the Dallas offense and forced them just to go to throw the ball, and they've stopped that.
Danny White back to Booth. The middleman and the man up front is Bobby Grimm. White with a punt, going over to the far side. The fair catch is called for, and it's made there at the 10-yard line. Blahak made the fair catch. He was there along with Robert Miller, and the ball is at the 10-yard line where the Minnesota Vikings take over. 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line.
A 42-yard punt. In rushing, Minnesota has 99 yards, Dallas 91, passing Minnesota 131, and Dallas 84. A statistical advantage for Minnesota of 230 yards to 175. So it shows you that the Minnesota defense has been doing the job. With the score 7-3 in favor of the Vikings, there's a timeout on the field, and now this for Las Vegas.
You know the best fun bargain in the country? You're right, it's Las Vegas. You can pack up at most any time of the year and find accommodations in the more than 38,000 first-class hotel and motel rooms. There are 12 championship golf courses and over 100 conveniently located tennis courts. If the world's greatest entertainers interest you, you'll always be lucky in Las Vegas. Shirley MacLaine is currently appearing in Caesar's Palace. The King, Frank Sinatra, starts there on September 22nd. Juliet Prowse and Foster Brooks are appearing at the Frontier through October 5th. John Davidson can be seen at the Las Vegas Hilton through September 22nd. And Rich Little plus Ben Vereen are on stage now at the Riviera. Come to the show capital of the world, Las Vegas, where there's a lot more to choose from. With plenty of daily flights from all major cities, why miss out on the Las Vegas fun bargain? Call or visit your travel agent.
First down at 10 at the 10-yard line. Targeted rolling out to the right side under heavy pressure. Throws the ball upfield. Intended for Stu Boyd, but he can't grab it. One of the few times this afternoon that Boyd is not latched onto a target and fast. So that'll make it 2nd down and 10 yards to go for the first down at the Viking 10-yard line. Minnesota has been hampered by poor field position for all but the first series of the entire second half. They've been playing in the shadow of their own goal line. When they do come up with a big gator, there's a penalty. Here's Tarkin on a delay to Chuck Foreman. Foreman at the 10-yard line. There's a little stutter step. Trying to find some running room. Manages to squeeze up to about the 13 or 14-yard line and no more. So a gain on the play of 3. It'll be 3rd down along 7 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings. And here comes the tandem of Mel Renfro and Randy Hughes. And out goes D.D. Lewis and Bob Brudig for the Dallas Cowboys as the Cowboys employ their nickel defense. Vikings huddled up the 5. They break it. Grimm's come wide to the left. And we've got Sandy White out to the right. Tingelhoff out over the football. Tarkenton checks the defense. Will they blitz? Here's Tarkenton dropping back to throw at the 5. Looking, being pressured. And he's going to be hauled down. He was hauled down. It's up for a loss back at the 4-yard line. Harvey Martin is Really been on Tarkenton's case this afternoon. 252-pound, 5-year veteran from East Texas State has had it pretty much his own way, especially in the second half.
Yes, he's had 2 key sacks in the second half. And you have to remember the quality of the opposition. Ron Yeri, the best in the business, is the guy who is blocking him. So not only does Yeri have a tough assignment, so does Martin.
Well, we've got Neil Quavo about a yard from the end line in the end zone, gets the belt high snap and gets the punt off, falls down, pretty good boot upfield. It's fumbled by Butch Johnson. The ball rolls forward. He picks it up and is hit at the 35, 34-yard line. He fumbled the ball at the 40, but the Vikings were not able to get upfield in time to cover. The ball rolls forward. Johnson picks it up and advances a couple of more yards. And now Dallas has the ball at the Minnesota 33.
It's a 40-yard punt. And the Cowboys have it again. Beautiful field position. But that's happened before in this half, and they just haven't been able to take advantage of it. A team comes out on offense. They have a series of plays they want to run, but the Vikings have just been shutting them off.
Preston Pearson, Robert Newhouse, the backfield. We have seen very little of Tony Dorsett this afternoon. Here's Staubach on a handoff to Newhouse, and Newhouse barreling as he cuts off the right side, spins around, practically running backwards, is hit, gets down inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. The guy that made the stop was left side linebacker Matt Blair. But the advance on the play is 5 yards. It'll be a second down and 5 to go for the Cowboys at the Minnesota 29. It's 7-3. Minnesota out in front. We're in the fourth quarter. 10:55 left in the game. Staubach has the line set. Deuce backfield waiting for the snap. Long count, gets it, gives the ball to Newhouse, and Newhouse ran into Pearson. His own man in the backfield. Newhouse was going to the left, Pearson was coming to the right, and Robert Newhouse ran into Pearson, fell down at the, went around the line of scrimmage, the 29-yard line.
They try to eliminate that kind of thing in practices. It was heartbreaking for Tom Landry because he got just what he wanted on first down. He got the good gain of 4 yards, his team in good position, and then they didn't develop something on second down. That ruins the series they had planned.
Butch Johnson goes out, Golden Richards replaces him, Robert Newhouse goes out, and the big tight end Jay Soudy is in. So Staubach and Coach Tom Landry want all the receivers they can get with third down and 5. Roger back at the 39, throws the ball, it's caught at the 20, the 15, and out of bounds goes Preston Pearson. Preston Pearson getting away from left side linebacker Matt Blair, makes the grab at the 20-yard line, and we've got a first down here for the Dallas Cowboys. They're down to the Minnesota 15.
And on the field for the Cowboys is Ralph Neely, the veteran offensive tackle who has been all league many, many times. He is hurt. It looks like it may be a leg injury as they're looking at him on about the 38-yard line. That was a big play for Dallas. It didn't look that spectacular, but Pearson's getting loose. When they were in a position with a third down and about 6 yards to go was a very, very important play because they were forced to bust their series and go into a passing situation. In other words, they weren't able to do what they were planning to do, and that's what's hurt them, even though they've had good field position all this second half with the exception of the first series for Minnesota, but they haven't been able to develop a series. Staubach is 11 for 22 for 125 yards, and he was sacked 3 times for 31 yards. Harvey Martin had 2 of those sacks, or rather, in the backfield of Minnesota. Carl Eller played a role in the Minnesota defensive line and having a very strong role in 2 of those times that Staubach was sacked. So the Cowboys are in their best position of this game so far.
At the first down, that's the 15-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. We've got Pearson and Newhouse, I formation. In motion to the far side is Butch Johnson. Turn around, give to Preston Pearson. Head down, knees turning, gets down to the 10-yard line. Jump back to the 13, but he'll pick up a good 4 yards on the play.
Give credit to John Fitzgerald, the big center from Boston College, who just powered his way in front of the runner and opened the way, moving back middle linebacker Seaman and doing the job. And they get 5 yards, or close to 5 yards, on the first effort on first down. Now, that's what you want to do. First is your most important down.
There's an old adage, whether or not it's mythical or not, if you want to beat the Minnesota Vikings, you run right at them, and that's what they did that time. Ran right at them, the back of the high formation. Pearson is the deep man. Staubach gets the snap, turns around, gives it to Pearson, runs right at him again, finds a hole off left tackle, picks up another 3 yards on the play. So from 2nd and 5, it'll go to 3rd down and about 2 yards to go for the first down. Let's see where they spot the football. It'll be somewhere around the 7 or 8 yard line. They put the ball at the 7.5-yard line. Third down and about 2.5 yards to go for the first down for Dallas. Waters will put the ball down up the 9-yard line. Efren Herrera down, up in the air, and it is good. No doubt about that. So, the score is now the Dallas Cowboys 10 and the Minnesota Vikings 7. Here's the word from International Scout and the Teamsters before the Dallas kickoff.
We'd like to announce a new world champion, the four-wheel drive Scout SS2. Last month in Riverside, California, the Scout SS2 beat every four-wheel drive vehicle in its class, including the Jeep's DJ7. 4 out of the top 9 finishers in the off-road world championship race were Scouts. Surprising? Not when you know that Scout is made by International Harvest. See your International dealer today and take a test drive in the vehicle that won the off-road world championship. Scout SS2. We built it. You tailed it.
Being number one is never easy. To the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, number one means more than being the world's largest union. It means you deliver for 2.3 million members, the best wages, most secure family futures, health, salary protection, and pension programs unsurpassed. And getting it on pays off because the Teamster Union continues to grow as workers from all walks of life discover the kind of benefits they've been missing. That's why Teamster membership is America's best buy.
Station break, and we'll get it to you after this play. Efren Herrera. The penalty was against the Minnesota Vikings. It has been assessed against them, and Efren Herrera will not kick off from the 35, but from the 40-yard line. Approaching the football, it's high. It goes on to the far side. It'll go in and out of the end zone, and the Minnesota Vikings will put the ball in play. First and 10 at their own 20-yard line. We're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
And this is WSON Henderson. It's 531, Radio 86.
Minnesota Vikings on the ball. Now trending for the first time this afternoon. And a fourth quarter touchdown pass from Starbuck to Preston Pearson. It's 10-7 Dallas out in front. Here's Tarkenton rolling to the right side. Looking, throwing on the run. The ball going dumped off to Foreman. And Foreman again has been shattered by Henderson. That's Henderson's job this afternoon. Stay with Foreman, and he has stayed with him very, very nicely. A gain on the play of about 2 yards of the 22-yard line, second down and 8.
Henderson's quickness is serving the Dallas defense well. You can expect Fran Tarkenton now to really let it out because his team has been pinned back in their own territory all throughout the second half.
Last time the Minnesota Vikings lost a home game here at the Met was to the Dallas Cowboys back in 75. Deuce backfield, Tarkenton calling the signal, turns around, gives the ball to Foreman. Foreman going to the outside. At the 25, fights up to the 27 to 28-yard line before being stopped on the play. So Chuck Foreman getting some good yardage. It'll be third down and short now for the Minnesota Vikings as they get the ball up to the 28-yard line. And the Vikings, of course, need a drive here. They're down 10-7.
Well, there was no blocking on that play at all. Foreman got all of that yardage on his own. The Cowboys were there. They were waiting for him, but they just couldn't put him down.
Stu Voigt, the tight end, is on the right side. Bob Grimm is wide left. Flank to the right is Sandy White. Here's the turnaround. The fake to Foreman. Tarkenton looking, may have to run. Wheels around, goes the other way, comes back this way. Is coming back to the 5-yard line, looking for a block. Looks, throws the ball across field. The ball is caught by Robert Miller. Breaks the tackle at the 35, at the 40-yard line, at the 45. Trying to get away from Cliff Harris, and finally is put down by Charlie Waters. Oh, brother. Tarkenton had him running this way and that way and drilled the ball to Robert Miller, who broke the tackle. And then had Charlie Waters to contend with, then Cliff Harris, and got the ball into Dallas territory, down to the Dallas 47-yard line.
A sensational play of 25 yards. Tarkenton ahead. Randy White all over him. He had Harvey Martin there in the backfield. Jeff Ropew was there. None of them could get him. And that's the Tarkenton that you can remember in days of yore when he first came with the Vikings.
6 minutes and 45 seconds left to play. Fourth quarter. And now the action starts to heat up. When will we get the key play, the big player? Have we had it already? The pass from Starbuck to Preston Pearson. Here's the handoff to Foreman, circling the left side. No, sir, he's not going anywhere. Yep, number 79 is in there, and he's going to be tough not to vote the outstanding defensive player. Harvey Martin makes the tackle and drops Chuck Foreman back at the 40, well, let's call it almost the 48-yard line. About a loss of a yard on the play. Second down and about 11 yards to go for the first down.
This Dallas defense has held Foreman to 50 yards and 16 carries. A lot of backs would settle for that, but not Foreman, who has gained 1,000 yards or better 2 years in a row.
McClanahan's in the backfield along with Sandy Johnson. Foreman being given a breather, as Robert Miller is too. Here's the handoff. The ball going to McClanahan. McClanahan around the right side. Fights down to the 40-yard line before he's finally just snowed under by white jerseys, but he did get to the 40-yard line. A good advance by McClanahan. Picked up at least 7 yards on the play. And now the Minnesota Vikings are faced with third and a long 2 yards to go for the first down at the Dallas 40.
Well, he had Ron Yeri, about 275 pounds of bone and muscle in front of him. He just stayed right behind Yeri as Yeri plowed into the quarterback, and the safety man, Cliff Harrison, just pushed him back.
The Minnesota Vikings have been shut out ever since that first series when they went 81 yards for the initial score. They failed 10-7, 5:15 on the clock. Here's Tarkinen rolling to the right. Looking, may run it at the 40, at the 35-yard line. He was hit and almost knocked into the next county by D.D. Lewis. D.D. Lewis threw a bead on Tarkinen's thigh and hit him, and must have sent him crawling about 10 yards. But Francis Hasbury Tarkinen picked up enough yardage for the first down, and I'll tell you, he earned every yard after getting hit.
D.D. Lewis, a product of Southern college football, came in and really gave Tarkinen a shot. Tarkinen's going to feel that for a few days. In first downs, Dallas has 10, and the Vikings have 17.
It's 10-7, Dallas out in front. We're approaching the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. The action heating up here at the Met. Out to the right side is Robert Miller. One setback for Fran Tarkinen. Takes the snap. Chuck Foreman's back in the game. Tarkinen looking. Throws the ball. The pass is no bargain. It is incomplete. It was intended for Bob Grimm.
Harvey Martin came in like a runaway freight train. Steve Riley was blocking him, pursued him all the way. Never gave up on the block, and at the very last moment managed to get his footing and put a shot into Martin just as Martin was going to grab Fran Tarkinen with a great big right hand. A great play by Steve Riley.
I think the only way to get rid of Harvey Martin is to kidnap him. He has just been in there in that backfield all afternoon.
All over the field.
Tarkinen 12 out of 29, 175 yards. Now faced with second down and 10. Wide receivers left and right. Throw set. Here's Tarkinen handing off. Quick opener. Miller. Miller at the 45. Miller down to the 20-yard line. He was hit at the 30. Broke the tackle. He's short and squat. He's 5'11", 204 pounds. So very close to the ground. A running back out of Kansas. A very hard runner. And the fact that he has excellent balance really helps make that play work.
There's a good reason for using a player in the summertime an awful lot if he's not a regular, and they used him a lot. He was a leading rusher, and he did the job. Yeri and Hamilton opened up the hole, and did they open up a hole?
Ran right up the middle, found the hole. It's 1st and 10 now. The ball is at the 21-yard line for the Vikings. Here's the handoff. It goes to Foreman. Foreman up the middle. Same spot. And he charges inside the 15 and down to the 11-yard line. Chuck Foreman, as Tarkinen appeared to call the same play, and this time instead of giving the ball to Miller, gave it to Foreman, and Foreman zips the ball up the middle, almost the first down, gets 9 on the play.
Great power smash, too. Yeri and Hamilton again. Hamilton, who has taken Ed White's place in the offensive line, working well alongside of the great all-pro Ron Yeri.
Now the Vikings break the huddle. The fans begin to chant, go, go. Bob Grimm goes wide to the right. Sammy White is out to the left. We've got Foreman and Miller in the backfield. Handoff goes to Miller. Miller head down, gets down to the 10-yard line. No, sir, not this time. Everybody up there to make the play. Bob Roenick, the linebacker, was there. Also there was Ed Tall Jones, but they got enough for the first down, and that was the object of the call. They'll spot the ball inside the 10 down to around the 9-yard line. First down and goal to go, Minnesota.
So for the first time since the opening of the second half, when Minnesota had one drive, the Viking offense has come surging back. It's like that Dallas score that put Dallas out ahead 10-7 served as a shocker, and the Minnesota offense has come alive.
And the Vikings out of the huddle. First down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. Tarkinen turns around, gives the ball to Foreman. Foreman spinning around, gets maybe as far as the 8. And that was about it. There wasn't much running room at all. Foreman tried to spin around. Elude the grasp of Randy White for one and a couple of other Cowboys. Harvey Martin again was there on the play. A gain of a yard. It'll be second down, goal to go at the Dallas 8-yard line.
It seems that the quick hitting plays are working very well for the Vikings, those two ones off the right side of the line, because they hit the line before the middle linebacker, Bruning, can react, because Bruning has been around almost every play.
Miller and Foreman in the backfield. Tarkinen reaching at his center, McTickle off. He's got Grimm wide left. He's got Sammy White out to the right side. Turn around. Give Foreman trying to go to the outside. Breaks one tackle and is hit and ridden down by Charlie Waters. Drops it at the 9-yard line. Loss of a yard on the play. And now we come up with the big play, the key play. Fourth down. Make that third down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. Foreman outside of one play, Pat, but we've got a 2-minute warning here. There's a timeout. So with a score, it's the Dallas Cowboys 10, the Minnesota Vikings 7. Now this word. I started to say before the 2-minute warning, it appeared that Foreman outside of that one play back in the first half when he outran one of the Dallas defenders when McClanahan missed the block on the near sideline here. Chuck does not seem to be as quick as maybe he has been in the past. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that the Dallas Cowboy linebackers are so very, very quick. And, of course, you're down near the goal line. Everybody coming up very, very quickly because I don't think they believe Tarkenton's going to put the ball in the air. But now we've got third down, goal to go at the 9-yard line. We'll have to see what happens here. Robert Miller's in the backfield along with Chuck Foreman. Wide right goes Bobby Grimm. Out to the left is Sammy White. Third down, goal to go. Minnesota at the Dallas 9-yard line. Tarkenton rolling to the right. He's under heavy pressure. He's not going to get it off. He was hit and dropped, and the guy to make the stop on the play, Big Ed Too Tall Jones. And that's sack number what, 3 or 4? 3. Third sack as Tarkenton goes down to a tremendous Dallas rush. And that's going to bring the ball back to about the 17, 18-yard line. And that means that Freddie Cox will come in for the field goal attempt.
I thought you had a good point earlier when you were talking about Foreman and why he hasn't done as well. And that was the fact that Henderson, that 9'8" linebacker in the 100-yard dash, has been shadowing him.
Here's Freddie Cox. It'll be a 35-yard boost. Gets it up in the air. It is. Freddie Cox says it's good. It's good. All right. Freddie Cox gets the ball up between the uprights. Now, we missed a commercial earlier today, so we're going to take a moment right now because we do have a score here. With the score, here's a word from the Fighting Irish before the Minnesota Vikings kick it off.
Here's the perfect gift for the sports bum, or anyone who likes the thrills and excitement of competitive sports. It's a special 2-record set of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Relive the unforgettable moments of football history with the Fighting Irish with this exclusive offer, only available through the Mutual Radio Network. This rare piece of sports memorabilia is yours for only $9.95. You'll know the heated passion of Newt Rockne.
You go out there and you crack 'em. Crack 'em, crack 'em. Fight to live, fight to win. Win, 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 win.
This exclusive recording also contains memorable moments on the gridiron.
The kick is blocked by Wayne Milner. The ball is rolling in the end zone. There's a scramble for the ball. It's recovered by Notre Dame. A touchdown for Notre Dame.
To get your 2-record set, send check or money order for $9.95 to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Post Office Box 1980, Washington, D.C. That's the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Post Office Box 1980, Washington, D.C.
From the goal line, up past the 5, the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40, and all the way up midfield, up the right sideline. A tremendous run back by Butch Johnson. They say he was hit and went out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So, Butch Johnson has put the Dallas Cowboys in tremendous field position. And what can you say? Except that Dallas has it at the 48-yard line, and the Minnesota Vikings maybe just relaxed a little bit after getting that 35-yard field goal from Freddie Cox to tie the score at 10-10. And that could be a key play in this football game. Starbuck is going to the shotgun. A minute 27 left to go. Here's the low snap. Roger back to throw. Being rushed. Dumps the ball off. The pass is caught by Jay Saldi in Minnesota territory at the 48-yard line. And Saldi is stopped by Matt Blair. So the Vikings linebacker gives up the short pass to the Dallas tight end. A gain on the play of 4 yards. Second down and 6. And, of course, the Cowboys now in their hurry-up offense. With Starbuck ready to go now on the shotgun. They've called the plays in series. Starbuck waiting for the snap from Fitzgerald. Long count. Gets the snap. Hands the ball off. Draw play. Newhouse hits the 45, and he is straightened up by Jeff Seaman, and then put away right at the 45-yard line by Matt Blair.
He was stonewalled by Blair. As his legs were being held low by Seaman, Blair came in and gave him a shot in the chest. By the way, that drive by the Vikings was 13 plays, 62 yards, and of course, that ended up in the Vikings getting 3 points and tying it up, and that's where we are now with 48 seconds left. And it's a 10-10 ball game, but the Cowboys aren't out of it. They're on the 45-yard line now. More after this special 60-second message from Mutual.
Right now, something rather special is happening at your Buick dealer. Something that just could be the open door to the kind of car you've been looking for. Announcing Buick's open door policy. An open invitation to come in and inspect, examine, and really discover why the 1977 Buicks are selling better than any other Buicks in history. Take a look at the LeSabre. Discover the distinctive front end, the standard power steering and brakes, the rich interior with meaningful room for 6, and discover, of course, LeSabre's gas economy. According to EPA estimates, the standard 231 cubic inch V6 LeSabre with automatic transmission got 25 miles per gallon in the highway test and 17 city. That's 20 miles per gallon combined. Your actual mileage may vary, and estimates are lower in California.
Mileage like that? And a LeSabre?
Buick's open door policy. A real opportunity to discover the finer points of our Buick automobiles and to discover that this is a great time to buy a new Buick. The door is open at your Buick dealer.
Here's Starbuck handing the ball off. The ball going to Preston Pearson coming around the left side from the shotgun. And Pearson gets the first down for the Dallas Cowboys on a sweep to the right side. Gets the ball down to the 39-yard line. We now have 34 seconds left to play. The Cowboys in their hurry-up offense already lined up. Starbuck calling for the snap. Gets it from Fitzgerald back to throw. Looks throws the ball out to Robert Newhouse. Newhouse unattended. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Matt Blair.
Very simple A and B pattern out of the backfield. Newhouse just got in front of the linebacker, Matt Blair, who made the deep drop on about the 25-yard line. He got the ball on about the 34 and took it up to the 31. So it'll be a second down coming up and about 2 yards to go for the Dallas Cowboys as Roger Staubach has the Cowboys in gear.
23 seconds showing on the clock. Second down, 2 yards to go. The Cowboys break the huddle. Out to the near side, Golden Richards. Out to the far side, we've got Drew Pearson. Starbuck is now moved back, waiting for the snap. Gets it from Fitzgerald, drops back. Minnesota on the rush. The pass up the side, intended for Golden Richards. Incomplete. Good job defensively by the left quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, Nate Wright, a 5'11", 185-9-year veteran from San Diego State.
Nate was all over Golden Richards on the play, and Staubach, who has been throwing with tremendous accuracy, just getting it away from the very good Viking defenders and into the hands of his sprawling receivers who have had to go out after a few. Naturally, he does this because the coverage is so good, and he does not want an interception. He just got a little too far on that last pass.
18 seconds left to play. The ball at the Vikings' 31-yard line. Here's Starbuck back, waiting for the snap from Fitzgerald. He's going to throw from the shotgun. Big rush is on. Wide open Pearson at the 20-yard line and hustled out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Viking defenders are not picking that back coming out in the right flat. We've seen Robert Newhouse. We've seen Preston Pearson. The Viking defense put on a tremendous rush. And Starbuck still able to drop the ball off to Pearson for first down yardage at the 15-yard line. We have 13 seconds left to go in the game.
The Vikings gambled on defense. The linebacker shot from the left side. The middle linebacker shot. And that area, that zone was left open. And Staubach, alert, a veteran, knows what's happening on the field, picked it up.
Butch Johnson goes out to the right. Out to the left side. We've got Drew Pearson. Staubach Under center. Gets the ball over to Preston Pearson. He fights down to the 5-yard line, and quickly the Dallas Cowboys call a timeout. That will stop the clock with 6 seconds remaining. 6 seconds left to play in the game. And boy, here it is. This is it. The ball is at the 10-yard line. And it's a straight shot up the middle for Efren Herrera. And right now, the Minnesota Vikings, who have squandered opportunities all day long, have to come up with the big play.
It'll be a big play, too. The specialty team is on now for the Vikings. They've got to block this. It's really a chip shot for Herrera from the 17. It'll be a 27-yard effort.
The ball will be held by Johnny Waters. A 27-yard straight up the field kick. Put down. Kick is up there, and it is no good. He missed it. Can you believe that? He missed it. Efren Herrera never misses a field goal from there. We'll have more after this special 60-second message. If you're...
Wake up your taste with the lime and lemon soft drink. Lemon is the secret of life. Wake up your taste with that lemon flavor that's so delicious. It hits you just right.
Hey, first there was a tart taste of lemon, then the tangy taste of lime. Now Sprite gives you the tingle taste of lemon.
Wake up your taste with the lime and lemon soft drink. Lemon is the secret of Sprite. It comes out bright and tingles you too. That's the lemon in Sprite. Give a tingle to you. Taste the one great lime and lemon soft drink. The one that's so refreshingly light. No other drink has that lemon flavor. 'Cause lemon is the secret of Sprite.
Already, the game is over, and we're going to go into overtime, and that's just where we were a year ago. The Los Angeles Rams and Minnesota Vikings wound up into a 10-10 overtime, and that's the way the ball game finished, and the Minnesota Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys will do the same. They will meet at midfield right about now, and in just a moment, we will continue our play-by-play description as the game goes into overtime. But first, this for Buick Automobiles.
Right now, something rather special is happening at your Buick dealer. Something that just could be the open door to the kind of car you've been looking for. Announcing Buick's open door policy. An open invitation to come in and inspect, examine, and really discover why the 1977 Buicks are selling better than any other Buicks in history. Take a look at the LeSabre. Discover the distinctive front end, the standard power steering and brakes, the rich interior with meaningful room for 6, and discover, of course, LeSabre's gas economy. According to EPA estimates, the standard 231 cubic inch V6 LeSabre with automatic transmission got 25 miles per gallon in the highway test and 17 city. That's 20 miles per gallon combined. Your actual mileage may vary, and estimates are lower in California.
Mileage like that? In a LeSabre?
Buick's open door policy, a real opportunity to discover the finer points of our Buick automobiles, and to discover that this is a great time to buy a new Buick. The door is open at your Buick dealer.
Efren Herrera is 9 of 9 from inside the 30-yard line on field goal attempts. That is until just a few seconds ago when it looked like the Dallas Cowboys are going to win against the Vikings. But now we've got a 10-10 score, and we go into sudden death with Minnesota receiving the kick. Final statistics, Minnesota 19 first downs, Dallas 12, 139 rushing. For Minnesota, Dallas 116. You can see both defenses have kept the offenses in check. Yards passing, 139, Minnesota 134 for Dallas, and total yards 378 for Minnesota and 250 for Dallas. Great offensive players in this game, Tony, and yet it's been a defensive show.
You know, Lloyd's of London would have insured Efren Herrera's kick. He doesn't miss from there.
No
not
way.
A straight up the middle shot, not at that range. He's deadly. He's almost perfect. Almost. And that's why we're here in overtime. Just that 6 o'clock flight goodbye, everybody. All righty. So Herrera misses, and a year ago, our opening game, or at least our second game of the year, the Minnesota Vikings and Los Angeles Rams wound up with a 10-10 deadlock in overtime. So, The first week of NFL football, we've had at least 4 upsets, and now we have an overtime game. The run-up and the boot is high. It'll come down short. Robert Miller will take it at the 18, the 20, at the 25, at the 29. He gets to the 30-yard line, and the white-shirted Cowboys gang up on him there. Hogs him. He stops, and that'll be 1st and 10 for Minnesota at their 30.
Tony Roberts, we couldn't have picked a better game to start out the NFL season with on Mutual. We've come all the way down the wire with 2 divisional champions tied at the end of the game. We go into a playoff looking for a big play, the sensational play of the game, the key play that is yet to come up.
Sammy White is out to the right. Bobby Grimm out to the left. Tarkenton has gone all the way at quarterback. Sends Robert Miller in motion to the far side. Gives the ball to Foreman at the 30, at the 35-yard line. Chuck Foreman has picked up about 5 yards on the play. He was driven back to the 32. He will get 35-yard line. That gives him 5 second down and 5 for the Minnesota Vikings.
And that is a key down. You want to get between 4 or 5 yards, although I talked to Jack Pardee about it, and I said, how many yards would you like to gain on first down? He said 9 every time. You can't blame a coach for feeling that way. Bud Grant and Tom Landry matching wits along the sideline.
Here come the Vikings out of the huddle. Second out and 5 at their own 35-yard line. They have not been able to put on a sustained drive since the opening series. Here's a reverse and a pitch back to Tarkenton looking, has a man on the far sideline. Overthrown! He had Bobby Grimm all alone. No one within 15 yards. It was a handoff to the halfback. Came around, gave the ball to the other halfback. He in turn flipped the ball back to Tarkenton. Tarkenton had Bob Grimm down the left sideline all alone and overshot him.
Tarkenton just got a little eager. He could smell it coming. Touchdown all the way. Grimm has good speed. He's in his 30s, but when he was a college player, he was about a 9.9 in a 100-yard dash, and he couldn't have lost that much.
Well, you know, Francis Asbury Tarkenton is not too happy with himself on that play. That was a big gainer, at least down to the Dallas 40-yard line. Instead, it's 3rd down and 5 at the Minnesota 35-yard line. Grimm wide left, White out to the right. Here's Tarkenton giving the ball this time to can't think of his name right now, Sammy Johnson. Sammy doesn't get to play that often. He's out of North Carolina, hard running back, but he picked up enough yardage for the first down. A scamper of 7 yards from the 35 up to the 42, and Johnson keeps the Viking drive alive.
Johnson has had 2 opportunities to rush in this game, and both times he's chewed off big chunks of yardage. He's got 33.
All right. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Minnesota in possession of the game at overtime. Tied at 10-10. And the handoff. And driving ahead is Johnson. Hard running, gets the ball up to the 45-yard line. So he picks up 3 hard-earned yards, and Minnesota is now faced with 2nd down and 7 at their own 45.
They talk about the great safeties on the Dallas Cowboys, and one of them, Charlie Waters, made a key play. He was up on the line of scrimmage. He must have known they were going to hit that hole because he hit Johnson right at the line of scrimmage.
White goes out to the right. Out to the left side, we've got Bob Grimm. 1 step back, that's Sammy Johnson. Tarkenton takes the snap, rolls to the right, under pressure, looking, trying to get the ball off to somebody. There's a penalty marker on the play. There's going to be a grounding call, I believe, against Tarkenton.
Guess who was all over Tarkenton? Harvey Martin. He has been all over this field. Riley has been the offensive tackle who has been the man who gets Martin as his assignment, and it's not the kind of assignment you would envy.
It's bad enough to get hit by Harvey Martin, but to get hit by him when you don't see him...
Worst thing in the world. Great quickness. From East Texas State, led the Dallas Cowboys in sacks last year, and he started off right where he left off last year. Penalty goes down to the 30-yard line, so the Vikings will have a 3rd and 22 coming up right now, and a big call for Tarkenton.
And, of course, you not only lose the yardage on the penalty, but you also lose the down, so with 3rd down and 22, Tarkenton now with the team huddle between the 20 and 25-yard line. A long huddle, they break slowly. White comes out to the right side, and going out to the left side, we've got McClanahan. Bob Grimm is also on the right side, so we've got a slot right with Sammy Johnson in the backfield. Tarkenton back to throw, looking, being rushed, trying to elude tacklers, and he is ridden down from behind. It's the 4th time he has been sacked this afternoon, and a lot of credit has to go to Larry Cole, the 6'5", 260-pound, 10-year veteran from Hawaii, who just would not be blacked out of the play.
Larry Cole has been in the Dallas organization for a long time, and just finally a couple of years ago got a chance to play regular, and now has been moved out of that position, and he plays as a spot player in the defensive line. But when the occasion arises, he comes up with a play.
4th down and a half an acre to go for a first down, 31 yards. And back to punt once again is Neil Claybo. Gets the belt high snap and gets the ball up in the air. It's off the side of his foot. Takes the bounce and goes out of bounds right around midfield. And the Cowboys are in business at the Minnesota 47-yard line.
You've been there in business, Tony. A 26-yard punt. Speak about keys in the game. That was a negative key because now the Cowboys have it in superb field position. They can just move it down where Herrera can take another try, really, and that's it. The ball will be on the 47-yard line, and I would imagine Staubach's going to get it cranked up now.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. OU Station identification will get you a break in just a moment right after this Dallas play. Out to the left side, we've got Golden Richards, Butch Johnson out to the right. Pearson, the deep man, Staubach fakes, looking, throwing up the middle, pass is caught. And dropped at the 31-yard line was number 88, Drew Pearson. He was hit and drilled down at the 31-yard line. It's going to be a first down, Dallas at the Minnesota 31. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Mutual, your News and Sports Radio Network.
And this is WSON Henderson at 6:01 on a Sunday afternoon.
That last play needed a perfect catch and a perfect pass from Staubach, and that was exactly it. Bryant had great coverage.
1st and 10 at the Minnesota 31. Staubach looking to the right sideline. The pass was it grabbed? It was a fine catch by Drew Pearson. Not only had to stretch out and grab the football, it was just a little bit wide by design so that it could not be intercepted, but also had to look back into the sun and still made the catch down at the 26-yard line.
On so many of these completions by Roger Staubach, the Vikings have had as good a coverage as you'd ever want, but Staubach, with great receivers and an accurate throwing arm, makes it impossible for the Vikings to come up with an interception.
2nd down and 5 yards to go for the first down at the 26-yard line. Staubach looking, throws out to Golden Richards. Richards is hit, breaks the tackle down to the 20, down to the 15, and out of bounds somewhere around the 15-yard line. And right now they're in chip shot range for Efren Herrera, and I can't believe that if he gets another opportunity, he would miss from this distance.
No, coming into this game, 9 of 9 from inside the 30-yard line, and that time they worked over McNeil again. McNeil was late coming up on the coverage, and then he took a shot at the running back who received the pass on about the 20-yard line and missed it.
1st and 10. So it's 1st down and 10 for the Dallas Cowboys, and right now they're at the Minnesota Vikings 15-yard line. Here's Roger Staubach with a long catch. Gives the ball to Robert Newhouse. Off right guard he goes. Inside the 10, down to about the 8-yard line. Newhouse just barreling straight through. Gets good yardage. Gets it inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. An advance of about 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3 yards to go.
Well, Pat Donovan, who has had his troubles with big Carl Eller, especially on pass protection, did the job that time. He moved Eller out and provided the big hole, and that was a big gain on first down, some 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 yards to go.
Pearson goes out to the right. Golden Richards comes out to the left side. Dallas with the ball, 2nd down at the 9-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. And I believe there's going to be a timeout call. Staubach wants to talk to Coach Landry. There's a timeout with a score tied at 10-10. Now, this word.
For dependable service on your office machines, you need Business Equipment. Business Equipment has the largest service department in the Tri-State, and they're prompt in serving your needs. Business Equipment sells every machine you need in your office, from a typewriter to a calculator. Business Equipment, 3rd and Green in Henderson, 920 Frederick in Owensboro, 402 Court Street in Evansville, or Tri-State Business and Equipment in Harrisburg, Illinois. Business Equipment.
Yes, I do mean it when I say it's Cook's giant closeout sale on all demos and Chevy Economy Savers in stock. Vegas station wagons priced as low as $39.15 with air and automatic transmission. EPA rated at 33 miles per gallon on the highway. And you can get up to $1,500 off on a 77 Chevrolet demo. Remember, I want to sell you a Chevrolet. Cook Chevy Land in Evansville. I want to sell you a Chevrolet.
In the NFL, at least 4 upsets already. And now we've come down to the wire in overtime. Dallas and the Vikings, 10-10. These teams have been evenly matched this afternoon, Tony.
10 minutes and 19 seconds left to play in the overtime period. But the Dallas Cowboys in striking distance, second down. 3 yards to go. They've got the ball at the Minnesota 9-yard line. Deuce backfield, wide receivers left and right. Richards left and out to the right side. Pearson handoff goes to Preston. Breaks the tackle. Alan Page had him wrapped up there in the backfield at the 11-yard line, but Pearson just ducked under it, broke it, got it inside the 10 down to about the 8-yard line. It's third down and a long 2 yards to go for the first down for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know how Pearson runs? He runs as if he's hungry. Somebody has a steak on the goal line, and he hasn't had a meal in about a month, but he's ready to go get it. That's how he runs. When you get past a tackle by Alan Page, you are doing your job. The ball will be just short of the 8-yard line. It'll be third down coming up and 3 yards to go. Be an interesting call here for Staubach.
Roger Staubach under center, waiting for the snap from Fitzgerald. Gets it, gives the ball to Pearson. Pearson straightened up, still fights his way down to the 5-yard line. And from here, he's got a first down at the 5-yard line. First down as Pearson going off the right side, running right at the Minnesota defense. Gets the first down yardage. It'll be first down and goal to go the length of the football inside the 5.
Big Pat Donovan, the former defensive end from Stanford University, now playing right tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, gave him a little crease, not a big hole, but in a situation like that with the Vikings stacked up on defense, well, that's pretty good in itself. And Pearson took advantage of it. He carried tacklers with him, too.
Here come the Cowboys out of the huddle at the 5-yard line. First down and goal to go. Staubach turns around. He's going to throw, rolling to the left side. May run it. He's at the 5-yard line. He's in for the touchdown. Roger Staubach got a scramble to the left side. Is in for the touchdown, and this football game is over as the Dallas Cowboys have defeated the Minnesota Vikings, or what you might call them in the upset. Minnesota was favored to win this game. They were a 2.5-point pick today, and we have at least 5 upsets on the scoreboard this afternoon. So the game winds up, the Dallas Cowboys 16 and the Minnesota Vikings 10. We'll continue our wrap-up of today's game right after this message from Pennzoil.
Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayinthenfl.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayinthenfl.com.